my name. You know, racing cars is my favorite game, and you know I can't be beat when I'm in the driver's seat. See, I got a lead foot and gas in my veins. God put a V8 where he should have put brains. There ain't a race I haven't run. There ain't a race I haven't won. And it's been 7 days since I've won a race, and I don't plan on leaving this place till I've won another. Send you crying home to your mother. See, I got the car, the skill, the crew, the will. God hates a sinner, but he loves a winner. You dare to show your face? Come on, Ace. Let's race. 43 cars on the field, and I'm sitting on the pole. Pace car's gone, the green flag drops, 500 miles to go. Let's race.
24 cars, left hand side. Go low, come on. You got him. 17 cars taking a high road.
505 Racing Show. And tonight's a special night for me at 5 Off and 5 On, and in Radio as well. This is our second anniversary, and to celebrate that, or help celebrate that, I got 5 of my good friends, at least they're my friends today while we're at the show. I don't know about tomorrow. From Long Island Need for Speed, Kevin Basic.
How you doing?
MyRaceNews.com, Walter Johnston. From the Himes Museum of Nostalgia, Marty Himes. 2-time world champion and 3 national champion demolition derby driver, Tom the Mad Hatter Kilkenny. And Mike Gravel Buxer, world champion from 1988 in the demolition derby ranks. So welcome, everybody. I'm glad you came down and took the time out of your busy schedules. As you see, it's not always me that's late. Sometimes there's some little things that happen, some glitches, but we're on, we're here, and we're going to talk racing. But before we talk racing, there's something I want to do. I have a book here, Marty, for you. I know you like my first one so much.
Absolutely, it was great.
A View from the Crossroads. And Marty, I put some nice stuff in the first one, but this one I wrote, Marty, for all you do, preserving the past, remember when.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for everything you do.
Your first book was a great one. If this is anything like that, it's going to be good. I'm going to read it tonight, you know.
Oh, you won't put this down?
I know it.
You're going to call me tomorrow. You SOB, I didn't get no sleep.
That's good. Yeah, but you know what I like about you? You tell it the way it is.
Well, I try, even though it's fictional.
It doesn't matter.
He told the truth. You're not going to be his friend tomorrow.
Well, Marty, thank you. For those who
You're
don't know, if you've never had the opportunity to go check out his place, take a couple of days, and I'm not kidding, take a couple of days and go walk through there, and then take another couple of days because you're going to see the things that you didn't see the last time. And Marty, it's incredible what you've done over the years.
Thank you.
For all the
Tell me
races.
where it is.
Yeah, was it, you tell her, you can talk.
It's Himes Museum of Motor Racing Nostalgia on 15 O'Neill Avenue in Bayshore, New York. And it's open 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Come on down.
All right. And I'll tell you, I've been there 3 or 4 times, and I go and I'll say, is this new? And no.
Yeah. A lot of people do that. They look up at something and say,
Did you have
that
that?
wasn't here when I was here. That's been up there 17 years.
I've been there 5 times. I've never made it past the foyer.
Oh, you can get lost right in your foyer. And I tell people every once in a while, when the last Featherlight Modified Tour event took place at the Thompson International Speedway in Connecticut, they had their time trial board, and they threw it in the dumpster.
I know.
And I went and got it, and I brought it to you.
It's in the museum now.
Marty, it brought tears to your eyes.
Yeah, it's a great thing. Why would they throw stuff like that
What I
away?
did is it was in dry erase marker. So what I did is I took it home and I took permanent marker and I traced over it.
Yeah.
So it looked exactly
So
the
you
same.
can read it.
And then all the scorers, because we didn't have transponders then, every car had its own scoring person. So every scorer signed it for a picture. And then they threw it away. So I took that color marker and I traced over their signatures. So that's there forever now.
Yeah,
So
good.
I'm glad I was able to do that.
I heard you have the ticket booth from Freeport Speedway.
Two of them.
Wow, look at that.
And the turnstiles, and the fences, and the gates, and the lights, and
Wow.
the towers,
Yeah.
and everything else too. And the track. I got a lot of the pavement too.
Do you really? Wow.
Yeah, when I leave. And the stuff goes with me. When I went there with a big truck
Yeah.
and a forklift, and up goes the boots on the truck,
And
2 at a
it's
time.
gone 30 years now.
The
It's a
flag
long time.
poles,
Yeah,
the big
30
ones on top of the
years.
wall, I took everything.
It's
All the
30
letters,
years.
Freeport Stadium, it took 65 feet to spell out Freeport Municipal Stadium, and big 3-foot letters.
Yeah.
They're at my house now.
Wow.
I took every one down.
See?
That's what I do. I preserve history.
Yeah.
And I do a pretty good job.
Yes, you do. Now, WJ, MyRaceNews.com. Tell us what's new for MyRaceNews.com.
What's new? Well, we've tried to recruit a few people over the off season. We've been lucky. We another guy that's gonna take pictures for us out of Riverhead this year. We have 2 people who've come on from Thompson, Connecticut, that are going to add stories and pictures on a weekly basis. Not that we don't get good stories from Russ up there. He's very prompt in sending them out. Sometimes he amazes me how fast he gets a story out every week. But we all of a sudden got very popular during Speed Weeks. I don't know if the word went around down in Daytona and New Smyrna, but all of a sudden our Facebook likes went up about 300 inside of a week. The daily hits on the site have gone up. People are starting to notice that we're there, and we're trying to live up to that and give them as much news as we possibly can. But it's a lot of work, and it takes more than just 2 or 3 people to do it.
And a lot of people don't realize the work that's involved behind the scenes, not just
video
with
stuff, let me
your
know.
site, but even doing a show like this and trying to coordinate. I want to thank Gravel over here for getting in touch with the man Hattie here, who I've only ever seen in a car mangled. I've never seen him, up close, and so it's a pleasure meeting you.
It's a pleasure here, Tom.
And then Long Island Need for Speed, Kevin Basic. Welcome. Kevin is, for those who are onto the show and listen and chat, Kevin is usually the one that's on that has to leave to go to the fire department meeting. So I'm glad there's no
That's
fire
right.
department meeting
No,
tonight.
not tonight, next Monday
All
night.
right?
Next Monday night,
And
yeah.
then it's all good. And everybody knows my friend Mike Gravel Buxer. Mike, we go back a long way, and we officiated together, and we had some good times. And there's some stories of your character, or a character based on you, in all of my books. And we call you the Crusher. Because you have to have a fake name. You can't be a real person.
No, not at all.
Crusher.
Couldn't you call him Hairy Man?
Well, that's what he's on. If I would have known, But we had some good times, Mike and I, and and we all know that we worked with a lunatic at the racetrack sometimes, but we always laughed at the end, no matter what happened. We always laughed at the end.
Because it was all for fun.
It was all for fun, and some special hamburgers you missed out on, but
It's okay, we can have them next week.
we can have them next
Yeah,
week.
and you will.
And the Mad Hatter. Now, you have all these championships, 83, 85, world championships, and 3 national championships.
When demolitions were really
When,
demolitions.
and we were talking about that before the show started. There were 100 cars. It wasn't like there was 10 heats.
1983, there was 135 cars on the
All
track.
right.
I remember you used to have to pull the flag. Yeah, that
You
thing.
did.
You used
You
to
just have to
pull the
snap
stick.
the
Yeah,
stick
yeah.
off the
Stick like
side.
you were
Yeah,
out.
if you're
To
out.
show that
yeah,
you were out.
yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah,
even if
yeah.
you were sitting there dead, if your stick was still in one piece, you were fair game. You could catch your shot.
And, tell me, I'm not a demo person.
Okay?
People might think I am the way I race, but
We had that on video too.
we do. It is more than doing a demolition derby than to go in a junkyard saying, I'll take that one, spray paint the number on the side, and go into the racetrack.
This is true.
Tell us what's involved.
All right, there's different calibers of demo drivers. First, you have the Saturday night special guy who just wants to go out and have some fun, and he'll just knock the windows out of Grandpa's car, take it out there, and just have a lot of fun. Like he's on the expressway, somebody's in your way, you want to push him, this is the place to go and do it. And then you have the guys out there who do a so-so job building their car, and they go out there and they try, but it takes a little time to get there. And then you have seasoned pros like Mike, who put everything into the car. He still scores even when he doesn't put it in, pisses everybody off. But there's really a lot into it. 40, 50 hours of work into a demo car is nothing. And to take it out there and get 20 minutes or a half hour of fun,
That's dedication.
it's dedication. And it's fun though. It's fun and it's worth every bit that we do.
Wow.
And if you want to really be competitive, that's what it entails, because it's all the little things. You have to pay attention to the small things that go wrong in the end. A simple little fuse that'll go and the car will stop. And then when the car gets hot, we retard the timing, so when the car is really hot, it'll still crank fast enough to start up. And back in the old days in Freeport, when we were first doing them, we used to run 2 batteries. We'd run 24 volts into a 12-volt coil. And then if you really got inventive, you'd put a 6-volt starter, so no matter how hot the car got, you cranked it, it would fly and start up.
Wow.
And then if you had a stick, the car didn't even have to run. You could just put it in gear and let off the clutch while you're cranking it, and the car would do 20 miles an hour.
As we were talking earlier, some of those crashes, they look like you're going so fast, but you're really not going as fast as it appears.
There are certain racetracks where you are, though.
Oh, okay.
So, if you go into the small tracks where they give you a little boxed-off area, that's a little different. Now, you have to talk about strategic hits, because you're not getting more than maybe 15 or 20 miles an hour.
Yep.
So on those, that's where you really got to, you want to rip a tie rod out, you want to pop a tire, get a radiator, the little things that are going to get them in a short shot. Well, when you're at Riverhead Raceway, say where you have a wide open field, or back when we used to go to Nazareth Speedway where you could run the whole racetrack. You take 50, 60 mile an hour hits out there, and they rock your world. You know.
You will get hit.
Yeah.
Now, it seems like most of the Demolition Derby competitors have a nickname.
Okay.
You're the Mad Hatter. How did that come to be?
Well, kind of like, the real story of the Mad Hatter is what's up is down, what's left is right. Well, when I'm out there, you're never going to figure what I'm going to do. Because if you think I'm going that way, I'm really going that way.
So you heard it here first. Now, I know why you're gravel, but why don't you share that with the group? If you don't mind.
When I first started working for a tow truck company, the guy's nickname was Rocky. And we used to pull into a gas station where the guy says, oh, crap, look who it is. It's the Slag Brothers. And I had no clue what he was talking about. So he says, don't you remember the old cartoon show, Wacky Races, with Peter Perfect and Penelope Pitstop?
Oh, I used to watch that on
There were two
Saturdays.
cavemen that used to
They were
beat
Rock
each
and
other over
Gravel.
the head.
Yeah,
What were their
yeah.
names? Rock and Gravel. And that's how I
That's
got
how we got
stuck
Gravel.
the name.
So I thought you would, like, when you race demos, that you hit the car so bad and so hard that they just disintegrated the gravel, but that's just a rumor.
That was usually me when I first started.
Now, Mike, you've raced demolition derbies all over.
35 years, all the way out to Ohio.
Wow.
So you had the demo cars with the exhaust coming out of the freaking
Well,
hood and all that stuff?
In Ohio, this was back in 1988, 1989, where you were basically just out there, you just took the windows out.
So, some racetracks require the car has to be bone stock.
Right.
And they'll only allow you to put a chain on the driver's door. Everywhere else is coat hanger. One coat hanger on each side of the trunk and one coat hanger on each side of the hood.
What about safety purposes? The
Chain
door
the
code?
driver's door, that's it. The battery had to remain under the hood. You had to run the stock gas tank. And then they'd make you go 1 inch up from the bottom of the tank, poke a hole, and put a screw in it. So that when you went through inspection, they would literally get on their back, loosen the screw, and take it out. And if gas came out, they would let it run until it stopped. You're allowed on the track with 1 inch of gas in the bottom of the tank.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Hey, we got a caller on line 4. Let's take this call and see what we got.
Who's that, the Good Humor Man?
It can't be you. You're here.
Oh, okay.
We got him? Oh, we must have lost him. They'll call back, I'm sure, because they're used to me. Because I'm not good with the phone, as Kevin knows.
Oh, yeah.
And we got to call back now. Demolition derbies. To me, I never considered them a race. I always said it's an event. And Mike and I, we've had friendly discussions back and forth with that. Now,
We agreed to disagree.
we agree to disagree. And I don't know. And WJ, is the demolition derby a race to you, or is it an event?
I would consider it an event, really.
Unless you're in Freeport Speedway.
This is weird.
Well,
That
you're
was
talking
backward, forward.
Yeah, that was a race.
That
Yes,
was where you
I
had to
would
do
that
9
was a
laps.
race,
You
yes.
did
And
2 backward,
and I
1
wish they
forward,
would
2
do that
back,
again
1
today.
forward, 2 back, 1
I
forward.
really do. That was a very entertaining.
And I
race
have to
event.
tell you, the scariest moment was when you were in the lead and you
you had to
finished
go
the
forward.
first 2 back laps,
Right.
and the other 30 cars are coming this way, and you have to go that way.
Or you were leading the race at the last lap, and you went across the start-finish line on 3 wheels, and you looked up, and here comes a friend of yours doing 65 miles an hour backwards and hits you so hard that he rips his drive shaft in half.
Wow.
The rear came out of the car. I couldn't. I thought I had him. We did the last backward lap. He was in the lead. I was in second. He crossed us, and now he has to do his last forward lap. And I said to myself, "Take him out. Try to get him in 1 shot, and then I do my forward lap and I win." And I hit him. Bang! I said, "God, great!" Dropped it in drive, and there was nothing. I couldn't figure. I figured I must have dropped the drive shaft. When I climbed out of the car, the rear was 30 feet behind me.
Oh, that made the highlight reel.
But yet I still limped around the
he
track to
won.
get the win.
Oh, those were definitely race events. What made them interesting was, like you said, the strategy of, I'm out there leading because I've gone backwards for 2 laps. Now I need to go forward. And
Forward.
the rest of the field's still
Still
coming
coming at
backwards
me.
at me.
It's coming at me.
And the most sensitive part of my car is pointed at the most insensitive part of theirs.
And
That truly makes a defensive drive.
And it's not against the rules to hit me like it would be in a regular stock car race.
And this is where we really learned how to drive. This is what separated us from everybody else as far as what I feel is ability and skill is we know how to drive backwards. It's so easy. We have people chasing us backwards at another racetrack, and we would
just
do
laugh. We laugh
two
at it.
moves, and they're like, I'm chasing you, I'm driving forward, you're driving backwards, and you're pulling away from me.
Yeah, if you got your skills to drive backwards on an oval like that versus what people do in just the center of a racetrack now or an arena, it's entirely different.
Well, truthfully, most of your world championships, those drivers came out of Freeport Speedway from doing the backward-forward demos. It really was an art to be defensive and stay out of the way, you know? Take the shot that you want to take and not let them take one on you, you know?
Now, Marty, you've raced backward. You ever do a demolition derby?
No,
Never.
no, never. My
He
brother
did.
took care of that for me.
Okay.
Another story.
His brother was one of the best.
Really?
His brother was one of the best.
Not me.
I mean, I like watching them. I like, I enjoy watching the demos. And like you said, it's not like it used to be. I can remember going with my grandfather, Ice and Speedway, 100 cars.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember the big fire, Wide World of Sports.
Yeah,
Remember that?
yeah.
I was freaking out over that. It's
Turn
like, wow,
3,
look
they
at this
had
thing burning.
150 cars
Burn fucking
burning in
out.
turn 3 for 2 days.
Remember?
I remember.
Yeah, like 3 fire departments there putting that thing out. ISIP couldn't handle it.
Yeah. I think we got that caller back. We got a caller on line 4. Are you out there? Hey, how you doing? I can barely hear you.
Stereo.
I'm sorry?
Just son. It's for those in here they can't hear the call. It's Jamie Kilkenny, your son.
My son.
And he just wanted to let you. He's proud that you're on this show, and he's happy. It's a
I'm
real
shocked
good
that he
thing.
even knows.
And now, as the son of a demolition derby multi-champion, how many have you got to watch? The opportunity to watch your dad demo?
He demoed with me.
Demoed with you.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Okay. You want a great story?
Oh yeah.
I hadn't been on a racetrack in 20 years. I retired. Hadn't been on a racetrack in 20 years. And what year was it?
2007.
2007, my son says, Dad, I really want to go on the racetrack and do some demos. I watched you my whole life growing up. He said, but I'd really like to be able to just tell the tale that I was on a racetrack with my father just
Wow.
once. So, hemmed and hawed. And the bottom line was I said to my son, all right, listen, I'll go out for the World Championships. That's all I'm going to do. That's it, one shot. And I hadn't been on a track in 20 years. So my brother-in-law, Bobby, from Monsters Recycling, the Killer Bee, he knew I liked 74 Plymouth Furies was my favorite car. He got one from, I believe it was Maine, had it shipped down, and in 3 days built the car for me, worked around the clock and built the car for me. And went out, I had a phenomenal race, and it came down to me and Mike. We spent the last 15 minutes beating the crap out of each other, and I won it.
He was more or less beating the crap out of me. I was just sitting there.
But it was to me, it was like phenomenal. 'Cause I hadn't been on a track in 20 years. Plus, I got to share the experience with my son, who came down to 4th for his first championship. And he happened to win. If you still have him on the line, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but he won the track championships in Riverhead after his 3rd year of racing. So I was very, very proud of my son.
Now Monsters Recycling Inc. over there in Reed Street in Lindenhurst, they provide demo cars for just about anybody.
For us. You know what, there's probably, if there's 10 cars on the track, he provided 6 to 8 of them.
Wow.
He's got a field of them down there. I mean, if I wanted to run the championships for the next 5 years, my cars were already picked out and laying down there with my name on them. Those are my cars. So he's a great guy when it comes to that, and he's a great champion himself. I won in 80, it was funny, in Islip I won in 83, he won the World Championships in 84, I won the World Championships in 85, and then he won them in 86. So
great.
for the last 4 years of the World Championships in Islip Speedway, when it really, really was a World Championship then, the two of us locked it up for 4 years, and that was my epitaph. I thought I was done.
Race car drivers never retire.
Yeah.
They're just looking for another ride. So,
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, if there was a race, Marty hopped in a car
Right.
racing. Yeah.
Jimmy Hendrickson used to tell me when I asked him about retiring, he said, a helmet and uniform still in the trunk of my car.
You know what's funny? I always carry mine in the trunk. You never know.
That's true, you don't know, I might get lucky. Oh, I would do it in a heartbeat, tonight or tomorrow.
There was one day we're up in Monadnock in New Hampshire for a modified tour race, and Wade Cole's driver got stuck at work. He couldn't get off. It was an accident. The guy had a body shop, and it was an accident investigation. And the guy, he had to wait for the police because he had the car before he could do anything. The police had to, so he couldn't make it to Monadnock to race. So Wade joking around says to me, "You got your stuff?" I said, "I always have my stuff." He goes, "Hop in." So I actually get in the car, take a little thing. They're taking pictures. I was like, Chad Little's not gonna like this, man. I'm gonna be getting that call on Monday. Joe, what were you thinking? But you know, you're right. I carry my stuff around. I don't think my helmet's any good anymore. I probably have to get that updated. But
Put a fresh coat of paint on it.
that's all. Well, they look for these little stickers now and stuff. And
We have that with the drill team racing.
oh man! Now I'm not saying I ever did this, but I know of a person who borrowed somebody else's helmet when they went through the tent. So he was, "All right, you're good. Next," and he just handed the guy back his helmet. Now, if you have a $10 head, I guess you. Wear a
We
$10
did that at Orange County almost every week.
Yeah, I mean, even my fire suit. When my daughter's racing, her fire suit wasn't done yet, and we all know that these fire suits that they use at the weekly tracks, they only give you seconds. So I had my pit road, NASCAR pit road fire suit. So I folded it up as tight as I could. I just go over to Walter and just show him the SFI sticker, the Patrick show. Just tell him that's your fire suit and you'll be good to go. So she walks over. Walter, he didn't even touch it. He just looked at me going, "You're good." Now I go there to race a non-NASCAR event. They went through me like it was a cup race. All right, we need this, we need that. It's an Enduro. I'm racing a truck Enduro. Do you do this to all the other people? We're not concerned about the other people. We're concerned
Oh,
about
they're just
That's
breaking
your
your
special
chops.
treatment. You get special treatment when you go to
I do, and we wore the DAPO shirts, Drivers Against Poor Officiating. We wore our DAPO shirts. Yeah. Bobby Finan comes up to my crew and he goes, "If you guys are looking for any favors, I'd lose those shirts." So my driver says, "I'm not looking for a favor. I'm just looking for a fair shake." So that's just how it was. But we had some good times, and
The Mike Mortimer flag.
yeah.
You got to tell that story because I don't think the rest of the guys know.
With Mortimer? Well, we have DAPO. See, DAPO's old. I just rescinded it. I just brought it back,
I remember.
And we're at the track one day, and there's a plane flying around the racetrack. A plane, with a banner. And nobody's really paying attention. All of a sudden, it says DAPO, Drivers Against Poor Officiating, just circling, because he was sponsored by Long Island Aerial Ads back then. And he had this thing, and Bill Park, his rear panel of his modified, said DAPO. Roger Oxy had it on his quarter panel. Even when we brought it back, the following week, Roger Oxy has DAPO, because I still had decals in my shop. They didn't burn. I still have them. So he had them. So we had some fun with DAPO. The racetrack didn't like. I got a call on Monday from Richard Buck, who's Chad Little's boss. So went to that, and they said they didn't appreciate what it did. And I said, no, it didn't stand for Drivers Against Poor Officiating. I made up some positive acronym that went with that. Oh, they just misunderstood because they don't like that. But anyway, I think we should take a break. And when we come back, we'll continue on our little discussion and have a little chat with Walter and Kevin what it's like to have a website and a show on cable. We'll be back.
Back to the music in 60 seconds.
If you want to increase business, you've got to advertise. Contact Resonant Voiceovers for an effective, affordable commercial spot. Our production, audio, and editing personnel will create top-quality recordings to promote your business. Start getting internet exposure for your business today, right here on Enravio.com. To contact Resonant Voiceovers, go to the Enravio Advertisers and Sponsors page and click on Resonant Voiceovers. Resonant Voiceovers, when you want your message to resonate.
Hey, dude, it's me again. Village Music Shop in Mastic. Anyway, you all know my dog, Mr. Big? Yeah. Well, Dudes and Dudettes Village Music Shop has been in business for over 37 years, serving musicians with the best products and service around. Oh, they have private lessons on all instruments and in all styles of music in their new state-of-the-art digital teaching studios with the excellent sales and service of guitars, drums, school band instruments, amps, PAs, as well as sheet music, books, and accessories. Basically, dudes, everything musical. Right, Big? Yeah. Chill out. Village Music has rentals on all instruments, even PA systems for your parties and barbecues. Oh, cool. Dude's Village Music Shop never has a sale on stuff because every day our prices are lower than all the competition. Stores, internet, whatever, guaranteed. Yeah. So come to Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic, phone 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Anyway.
Enravio.com.
Croce's Auto Body, first aid for your auto since 1965. 24-hour towing, free estimates, frame straightening, insurance claims, restorations. 398 Main Street, East Moriches, Long Island, New York. Phone 631-878-1998.
BaneRadio.com.
Stop putting it off and start painting it up today at Ben's Paint Station, featuring Benjamin Moore paints, Sickens, wood finishes, paints, and professional paint supplies, ideal for contractors and homeowners. Stain paints and epoxies, family owned and operated, in business for over 55 years. Professional and experienced help. Located at 2 locations, 55B Route 25, Coram, Long Island, New York, and 1495 Plaza Montauk Highway, Mastic, New York. Call them at 775-7435 and 775-8135. Ben's Paint Station, featuring Benjamin Moore Paints. Log on to the Enravio advertisers page today.
Enravio.com. Fasten your seatbelts. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
It's funny, we take our breaks, and sometimes the conversation during break is more interesting.
Just keep
when
going.
We're live. And I'm up, we got to pay the bills. We got to do things. Before we move on, I just want to review what happened this past weekend in NASCAR. The trucks and the Nationwide were in Phoenix. Carl Edwards took down the win there with Jimmy Johnson second, Denny Hamlin third, Brad Keselowski fourth, Dale Earnhardt Jr. fifth. Clint Boyer was sixth, Matt Kenseth seventh, Tony Stewart eighth, Jeff Gordon ninth, and Jeff Burton 10th. And Danica Patrick, who looked so good at Daytona, crushed the wall and tore that car up. So.
She's done.
That's
You
it.
know,
No, that was a blown tire.
yeah, it was a blown tire, but that car was, oh man, that was
What
a
happened to the inner line?
tough one.
They don't run into one as a Phoenix.
No, yeah, the only
should,
super
but
speed
they
race. Yeah. The points after 2 events, Jimmy Johnson is the point leader with Dale Earnhardt Jr. second, Brad Keselowski third, Denny Hamlin fourth, Clint Boyer is fifth, Greg Biffle sixth, Mark Martin seventh, Jeff Gordon eighth, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. ninth, and Eric Almirola 10th. Nationwide was there. It was an interesting race with Kyle Busch. It just seemed like he was playing with them all race, and then at the end, he just took off. Brad Keselowski second, Justin Allgaier third, Trevor Bayne fourth, Elliott Sadler fifth, Austin Dillon sixth, Sam Hornish Jr. seventh, Matt Kenseth eighth, Eric Almirola ninth, and Brian Scott was 10th. Sam Hornish Jr. after 2 events is leading the points, with Justin Allgaier second, Brian Scott third, Elliott Sadler fourth, Parker Kligerman fifth, Reagan Smith is sixth, Kyle Larson seventh, Nelson Piquet Jr. eighth, and Austin Dillon ninth, and rounding out the top 10, Alex Bowman. The Cup and the Nationwide next race will be in Martinsville, April 6th, 2 days before I turn 55. I remember when I thought 55 was old.
It is.
It is, yeah, for you, yeah. Now, Marty, it's been a long time since you've seen 55.
A long time ago.
Long time. And
Hold on, could we back
Oh,
up?
slow down.
You said Cup and Nationwide, the next race is April 5th?
6th.
Oh, they
This
run,
is
they
in
run.
Vegas this coming
Oh, this weekend, that's right. I'm sorry, the trucks are in Martinsville, April
It's
6th.
old age for
It's old age.
I thought part of the season got canceled and I wasn't notified.
This is
of
why
that.
it's good to have you with me on my show, WJ. You know, because I write my notes in the kind of sloppy. Now, just some sad news. It seems like every show there's sad news. And in 1954, NASCAR Modified national champion passed away. He's passed away last week. He was originally from Montclair, New Jersey. And you know what I did? I didn't write his name down. How foolish is that of me?
Marty probably knows the
And I'm
guy.
not
What?
holding
Yeah,
reference to
Marty.
my book. Marty,
No, I don't remember, but it was in the paper today.
Yeah, it was in
It was
today's
area auto
Yeah.
races today.
Um,
And
So I
didn't get to read it.
apologize. I'll have that name.
somebody call in with it.
Somebody look it up quick and call in because I didn't write down the name. It's kind of. I
from
got
Jersey,
sidetracked. I was doing something. He was originally from Montclair, New Jersey, moved down to Florida. He had 6 Cup starts in 55 and 56 after winning the National Championship in the Modifieds. And he competed twice on the famed Daytona Beach Road Course. So that was another guy from the old days, we lost. And I'll tell you what, the pit area
Jack
up in heaven
Duffy?
is getting
Nah.
pretty,
Yeah, it's kind of crowded now.
crowded.
They're
They're
running some
not going to
races
have a
up
spot
there.
for me. They're not going to like me there either when I get up there. They're going to send me to the other racetrack.
I
down
wonder what's
south.
going to happen to me.
You're in. They
think I'm
saved
in?
the spot for you.
They got me a spot.
You got a spot. Walt Ditzel took care of that.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. He was a good man. Walt Etzel was a
You got
great
the
man.
#1 VIP section.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
Come on. Now, before we go into other things, here it is, it's March, and there's a handful of racetracks that have not had a banquet for their champions, and SAFER, the Suffolk Association of Figure 8 Racing here on Long Island, did not schedule a banquet yet. Now, I've been in SAFER since 1977, and we've been talking about a banquet for 6 months. And this isn't like this is the first year of the
You got to have a
organization.
committee like we do with the
Well,
firehouse.
see, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get a foot up my butt from probably tomorrow from SAFER people. There is a committee. It's a committee
You know,
of
you
one.
research where to go, how much it's
And
going to cost.
the committee of one insists on going to this one place for years and years and years. We originally went there because we got a real good deal.
Yeah, but it gets stagnant after a while.
It does. And it's not an easy place to get to. It's down Landing Avenue. It's a nice place, don't get me wrong. And if you're going to have a single event there, a one-time deal, yeah, excellent. I play golf there, beautiful course. But we've been going there forever. So there's no interest. There's no, I'm looking forward to it. And he insists on having it there. So some apathy has been brought up. And there was something in the social media today, and because I posted, here it is, it's March, and there's still no banquet. Now, Mike Muse is a figure 8 champion here on Long Island. His first championship. He's not one of those guys who's raced since he's 5 years old. He only got into racing 10 or 12 years ago. And he wins a championship, and there's no recognition. Even at the local track, didn't have a banquet. They had a little luncheon, and it's, I don't care, folks, it's not the same. It's not the same. Take the time, schedule a banquet. Maybe the banquets that we had here on Long Island were just too big and too grand, and I don't mean too grand the money, just too grand, because you couldn't hear the speakers. The people were rude. The booze was unlimited. And once you have unlimited booze and people have
Can I just
rooms,
say something? You know what we do with our fire department installation dinners? There's really no drinking or anything till after you have your award ceremonies and all that stuff. Then it's free party. Do whatever the hell you want.
when I go down to Charlotte for the touring series banquet, there's 600-700 people there. You could hear a pin drop. When the people are talking, when the stars are doing their little gig and the comedians are doing their little talk, you could hear a pin drop in the room because you get 2 drink tickets. What you do, like you said, after the thing's over, you could you could fill up a fuel cell with booze and drink it if you want to.
And they're all practiced at waiting and drinking because 99% of them don't drink until after the last check of Clay. Right? So
Yeah. I just want to say that here, and that I'm very disappointed that the guys and gals who race and compete here on Long Island did not get the proper recognition. And I don't think a luncheon in some place on the water, for an hour or two is the way to recognize your champions who've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to put on a show at that venue. And auto racing is one of the only venues where the performers pay to perform.
That's true.
And you can't recognize them with a nice trophy where you got to wear a suit and a tie or at least buy a new collared shirt. It just irks me.
You're absolutely right. Back in the days of Freeport, they used to have a dinner dance.
Yep.
It was on the terms of almost a wedding.
Right.
Yeah, we have that with our installation dinners.
Truly was.
Used to have ours in Freeport at the Freeport Yacht Club.
Yeah, and you felt special when you were presented
great.
with your trophies and you got your recognition.
Pictures
You
and
really
all
felt
that, yeah.
special. Gave the incentive for the following year.
When my daughter won the EKRA championship in the junior sportsmanship division, we went to Anton's in Westbury. The trophy didn't fit in my car. I had to open the sunroof. And it was like you said, it was like a wedding. Everybody was dressed nice. There was music. It was great. People spoke. You could hear. I mean, the guy running it wouldn't let you talk. but that was a good thing, And it just here it is. It's March 4th. the season starts in 6-8 weeks, and nobody's gonna have the money now to go to the safer banquet. Because they're trying to get the cars ready. They got to get their NASCAR license. They got to get at least a set of tires to start. They got to register the March. If you're watching and listening, is not the time to have the safer banquet. End of story.
Should be in the
Plenty of
fall.
open dates during the racing season this year, from what I see on the schedule.
Oh, and that's another thing. And I talk about this, as the schedule. It's a catch-22. Where are the cars? Well, it's hard to get the cars. You might race, Marty. Did you look at the schedule when you raced?
No, we knew it in advance.
Every week.
Every week, same Tuesday, Friday, Saturday.
That was it.
Tuesday, Friday, Saturday.
You're giving up your Freeport days.
And bring back the heat races. Bring back the heat races.
I agree, because you show up at the racetrack and I'm in the feature. I'm starting the 21st.
Hey, can I say something too? You go to other racetracks all over the Northeast, wherever it's upstate New York, Jersey, Pennsylvania, whatever. Races start at like 5 o'clock and don't end till 11 o'clock. And that's with heat races and things for the kids to do and stuff. And the places are packed and all that stuff. It's a great time, whether you go dirt or asphalt.
And family.
Oh, yeah.
The grandstands were full of families.
Yeah.
My kids grew up in Freeport.
Yeah, but it's also hard to have heat races if there's only 4 cars in each heat race. Because
exactly.
Also, there's no payouts.
That's part of economy, and that's part of the owners of the track not looking at the big picture.
You gotta pay out.
They're looking at the short term. Where's my money coming in?
And what track are we talking about?
Out east.
Out east.
But I had originally had a conversation with them a couple of years ago.
There's a few that have that
But
problem.
they don't listen. You got good
not only that.
ideas.
I had originally had a conversation with them pertaining to exactly what we're talking about, that back in the day, the grandstands were full of families. And, you would watch the races, you would watch the demos, the rollover contests, and that was grassroots racing, because you would get the interest of somebody sitting up in the grandstand and say, like, I can do that. That's back when you had a strictly street stock division. It really was strictly street stock. Not like
that's
now.
what the blunderbuss was supposed to be.
That's what it was supposed to be. But see, this is what happens.
God.
Over the years, from the officiating, they allow it to evolve a little bit, and in time, you're running a street stock car, like a modified.
Yep.
And that's what the Enduros were originally supposed to be. And I won plenty of Enduros out there, and I ran a 75 Monte Carlo that was bone stock. Tune it up, freshen it up, good tires, new shocks, and make it run like hell, and do a good job.
Now
of
it's like a
driving.
blunderbuss car.
And that's how you honed your skills. And the truth of the matter is now is if you go out into the Enduros now, these guys are cranking out there. There is nobody running a stock car.
No.
So it kind of like kills it, because the guy that's sitting up in the grandstand says, wow, I'd really like to do that, but I could never compete with these guys, so I'm not going to bother. And it kind of kills the grassroots racing, because you'll get a guy who will come out first with grandpa's car that's been laying in the backyard, and he'll run a demo. He'll have a lot of fun. From there, he'll want to do a street stock division. And this is how you build up to a modified driver. I mean, they take them in steps. That's not happening anymore, and that's one of the things that's killing. Again, the Enduros used to have 125 cars in an Enduro.
And 4 of them.
What do you get now? 12?
Well, they're getting 40, 50 cars, but now the purse is prorated because they don't have enough people. And the reason why they don't have enough people
Because they let it get out of control.
Well, yeah, but the purse never paid off like the whole field anyway. It was kind of a thing
Top 10,
where
paid the top 10.
everybody paid $30 or whatever to get in, and they took half that money, and then they divvied it up between the top 10, and everybody else that showed up that day just had a good time and then had to tow their wreck out of there, or they sold it to the recycling place or whatever. Now, the other side of the problem is cars are lasting longer, so there's less of a feed of cars coming in that you can run in them. And between that and this Cash for Clunkers program, where all those cars got yanked off the road but had to be destroyed and get junked, that you couldn't even say, well, okay, there's a great enduro car, there's a great demo car, or something like that. You couldn't make anything out of it because they trashed the motors and the transmissions. They weren't allowed to sell any of the parts off the cars. They had to go to a crusher.
I know.
And now all of a sudden, you have a shortage of used cars, and it shrinks the fields in that type of event everywhere.
Monster Recycling did 5,000 clunkers alone.
Right.
One junkyard here on Long Island. 5,000.
What about all those hurricane cars that are sitting out in Calverton right now? They can use those.
They're getting shipped out of state.
Oh, that sucks.
Cleaned up to be resold in South Carolina.
And that's the problem. Like the availability of these the big cars. It's just not there. The availability of the rear wheel cars is slowly
I
diminishing.
got a 999 Honda already.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Another thing, when I started racing back in the old Freeport and Dexter Park days, we had a division called Claiming Division.
And that was smart.
That was the best thing that ever happened because
what's
they put
the-
a claiming price on the cars, $150.
wow.
Well, you
If
could
you
do
put
that.
more than $150 in the car, you were subject to losing that car because if you won the race, I'm coming over to you and I'm buying your car and you got to sell it to me.
Yeah, that was like the
So-
50s.
Yeah, so
That
if
was
you
a lot of
put-
money
you
then.
put 500 in your car, I'm getting your car for $150.
Right, even if they did it now with the Enduros and did it like $1,000
Claiming
fee.
division.
Well, for $1,000, you know what? It's a junk car that I went out and had a lot of fun. You want to give me $1,000? Take it. I'll get another one.
And Bruno Bracchi even ran in the claiming division. I have all the proof of it home.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
Well, he was a
You didn't-
chauffeur.
You didn't
He wasn't
have
a
a
driver,
big
he was a
investment in this
chauffeur.
car. You couldn't put an investment in a car because you're subject to losing it anytime. And you had to sell it or you're out. That was the rules.
He told me one story about where they gave him money because they tore his motor down for the head gasket.
Oh, I can
And he,
tell you.
he took the money and put it in his pocket, put the head gasket slowly back on the motor, put it back together.
No, he did it all the time. Put the same gasket on, Permatex both sides. Always. He never went out and bought a new gasket.
Marty, I was cheap. I was that cheap too. When I was building my
There's
Enduro
nothing wrong
cars,
with that.
I used to have this guy Jimmy from Bay Gulf. He would freshen my cars up and make them better. But he would tell me, he said, "Well, you know, maybe it's time to put some fresh plugs in." I said, "There's 2 races on those plugs. Clean them up and put them back in."
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. You know, I was cheap. But you know, this is how again grassroots racing starts. We started doing. Like instead of burning up the brakes, we started pulling the rotors off and drilling them out like a motorcycle.
Yeah, right.
Keep the brakes cool. You get a lot more life out of the brake pads. And these are all the little things that you learn by not putting a ton of money into your car.
Right.
It just turns you into a better chauffeur too. I mean, you know, you hone your skills as opposed to the guy who has the biggest person with a paycheck that can afford to do this, or you have sponsors that are dumping money into the car. Now it's your skill.
I learned that in reverse. I used to put a lot of money into the car, and then I got real cheap with it. We were just talking about that coming here. 2001, we were going to a demolition derby at the Orange County Fair for the fair, and Bobby at Monsters Recycling. I needed a transmission. He gave me the car on a Thursday. I stripped it out, I put it together. I said, I need some training line. I'm going to loop the training lines. Oh, there's a roll in the shelf over there. Nah, so I literally dove into the dumpster, and I pulled out a 2-inch piece of tranny hose, and I put it together. And here's Bobby. He's got 200 hours, and God knows
Bobby
how much,
builds a car.
and
Bobby
how
builds a
much,
car.
work into the car. I got 3 days, maybe 20 minutes, and it came down to, at the end, it was Bobby, this other guy, Craig, and me. Who had fun?
Yeah.
I rest my, and that's.
And who won?
Well, Bobby won, but who cares?
But you were right
Yeah,
there.
I was there,
But
so
yeah, it's funny you mention because as you're talking, I'm sitting there. Back in '96, I needed a 3-speed tranny, and that's where I got it from. And he didn't charge me a dime.
No, he's a
I
gentleman.
said I raced at Riverhead. I need this 3-speed transmission, and if I'm not asking too much, I need this gear ratio in second. That one.
How about if you go out to the racetrack and you look, if there's 50 cars on the track, 20 of them have Monsters Recycling.
Yeah.
He
Wait, how
takes
much
care
you
of
charge
everything.
for a
That's
car?
good.
Well, you got to buy
What,
it.
if you want to do a demo?
Yeah.
You go out and you have a conversation with him. He likes you, he'll give you a car. You run the car, when you're done, you bring it back.
Now, you might want to send somebody up.
Yeah,
You have the guys right in my town.
It's not like he just gives them away to everybody.
Right.
But, you know, the honest truth is if he knows you, or like if I brought you down and introduced you and said, listen, this guy really wants to run a demo. You know, if we got something extra we could throw him, and he'll just walk around.
I
All
was
right, you
thinking
can have
about
that
a
one over there.
fundraiser
You
for
know.
the fire department. Put a whole bunch of freaking us jerks in there.
Could I tell you something else he does too? The local fire department.
I bought enough Lyndhurst.
He donates cars to them all the time.
Oh, to
They
cut 'em
are
up, yeah.
constantly there, cutting
That's
them
like
up,
we got a
setting them on
Lakewood.
fire. I mean, look, he's a gentleman. He truly is. He's he's
Throws
old
them out
school.
front, cut 'em
He's
up.
old school.
If there is
And that's
any-
not just because he's my brother-in-law.
if there's
He's old
anything
school. He's a
that he
good
can
guy.
do for you, he
He's
will.
playing an important part in this whole game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, we were hoping that he was going to come with us tonight.
But work.
Work came first, which is
He's
which is
got the flood
understandable.
cars in the auction. He's running rampant.
Now, WJ, you've been doing this for as long as I can remember, but when did you first start getting involved, and what turned you into, I'm going to say, a race correspondent?
Well,
You couldn't drive in a circle.
No, I got involved as a fan when I was a kid. I'd get chances here and there to go to the races. My dad really wasn't into it, so he didn't take me much. But I got to go with friends. The local police boys club used to run a bus to the, I think it was the Tuesday night show at
Tuesday night,
at Freeport. And then after I got married, I had a chance to go to Islip because it was only about 4 miles from my house.
Right.
Oh, you could get
And
a cause.
I went there one Saturday night, and that was it. The only Saturday nights I missed after that was wedding anniversaries, birthdays, things like that, where, since I was the only one in the family, I couldn't very well tell them, well, no, we're gonna have to put off the birthday and anniversary. I'm going to the races tonight. That
I went to
didn't
the
go over
races.
well.
Maybe that's why I was married twice.
Well, maybe that's why I'm still married,
Yeah,
because I didn't go. But,
I did that at my brother's wedding with a drill team. We were racing in CI, I think it was, and he was getting married. And I was like the best man. I showed up in my drill team uniform. I had to get changed at the freaking church.
You see, the other way is to get your wife involved. I put my wife in demolition derby cars.
No.
She won the Jersey State Championships.
No, when you're married to a lady that says, I cannot understand how you can watch people drive cars around in circles all night long. There's no changing her mind.
You got to get her in
you
the
know what?
car,
No,
and she'll
no,
understand.
She's entitled to her opinion. Anyway, all these years ago, and I started buying the trade papers and the magazines and everything like that, and I'd read the stories, especially the stories of the races that I'd been to. And it always seemed like, well, okay, it was a pretty good report, and yeah, I saw that and everything, but there's so much missing about what happened with other things while I was there. And I started to feel at one point, gee, I wish somebody would come along that would do a better story. And a couple of guys did, but they came and they went. And it just seemed to be, the same old guys. There's a couple guys up in New England, Bones Borsier and Dean Naughty, who wrote excellent stories through the years. Bones is still around right now. I don't know what Dean's doing these days. But just by chance, I ended up getting a chance to volunteer to work with Long Island Jam, basically just moderating the message board, until the owner, J.A. Ackley, had to spend the summer at college and wasn't able to come down for the races, and he asked me if I would just try and knock out a paragraph or two. And I said, yeah, all right, I'll give it a stab, He said, well, I think you can, from what I see, from the written stuff I've gotten from you, you could probably do it. And I did it that summer, and when he came back, towards the end of August, I said to him that night, I said, well, I guess you're going to take it back again. He said, no, I want you to keep doing it. He says, you do a better job than I do. I said, oh, okay, thanks. He said, you don't mind? I said, no, that's all right. I'll do it. And I stayed there for a couple of years until there was a parting of the ways. I went to work for Mike Fields at Long Island Motorsports. And after a while, I just got the idea that, you know what, I need to be my own boss. I need to call the shots on this, to make sure that it's up in a timely manner, as soon after the races as possible, because that's what I knew people were looking for. They didn't want to know that there was a race on Saturday night and not read about it until Tuesday or Wednesday.
That's correct.
And Walt, I remember I used to send, when you worked for Long Island Jam, I used to send the video clips. I think that's what got me in trouble, because I showed what happened. If Parksy took out Wayne, it was Nerf bar to Nerf bar, bumper to bumper, and you seen the car spin out, and there goes Parksy right by.
Well, that might have been a problem back then. It can't be considered one anymore, because you don't have to send it to somebody's website. You just have to post it on YouTube, and there's not much anybody can do about it.
Well, they videotape out there now anyway. So,
Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is you could go out there and over the fence, do your video shots, come home, spend all night from midnight Saturday until 6 o'clock Sunday morning, putting up what you think is germane and should be seen by people, and then people will get to know that on Sunday morning.
I've seen that with my own videos.
You'll see all the videos.
Speedway. I've seen it, even the clips that they had in the Hall of Fame, the Richie Evans clips.
Because your stuff's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's
a lot
in
of
the
people
Hall
don't
of
know
Fame.
that.
The
NASCAR
shots
Hall
at
of Fame.
Islip Speedway, there's one from Stafford, Connecticut, and Thompson.
And that's the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
Push the
in
button,
Charlotte,
and
North Carolina.
there goes the video.
And there's your stuff.
Just a couple of clips.
But going back to finish up what I was saying, my main thing was that I wanted to see these guys get some recognition, because after I got to where I was closer and I was walking around the pits before the races, I would sit there as a more keen observer, because I knew I had to report on them during the races. I got an appreciation for what goes into building a race car, even though I've never done it myself, and I felt that they deserved as much recognition as anybody could give them. and to try and do it in as much of a positive way. I mean, I've been spoken to once or twice about, you're kind of going over the edge, and my answer to that was, well, you can take ugly and try and make it look pretty with a little bit of makeup, but somebody ugly is still going to be there. And there's nothing I can do to change that.
They don't want to hear the truth,
Well, no, that's all they do here is the truth. That's one thing. If they said that they had a problem with something, I just look at them and say, well, tell me which part of what I wrote's not the truth.
Well, that's why your website has gotten over 300 likes.
Yeah,
and
I know.
growing.
And we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue our discussion and our little celebration of the second anniversary of the 505 on Raisin Show. We'll be back.
So if you need video over the summer, let me know.
Oil City Skate Park, Long Island's only indoor skate park. Skateboarding, BMX, inline skating, open 7 days a week. Nearly 150 decks by Baker, Flip, Girl, Chocolate, Real, Plan B, Crimson, Zero, Element, DGK, Bogata, and more. The best in tees, hoodies, wallets, trucks, wheels, bearings, t-shirts, hats, and DVDs. New York's largest Santa Cruz dealer. Introducing Shark Skateboards, Europe's best-selling deck. Oil City Skate Park, 3565 Maple Court, Oceanside, New York. Phone 516-442-0706 or go to www.oilcitysk8.com for more info.
InRavio.com.
YouNeedAPart.com. Fast and free, the internet's top used parts locator service. Over 3 million part searches since 2001. Salvage yards, sell more parts. Become a member today. YouNeedAPart.com. Tell them you heard it on InRavio.com.
InRavio.com.
Good Times Magazine, New York's best entertainment paper for 43 years. Check out their calendar for all the latest music info, including New York City, Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk. Studio News brings you the biggest news about the hottest artists and sounds. Technobeat is your guide to electronica, techno, house, and dubstep. Packtrack keeps you up to date on the biggest events at the area's performing arts centers and theaters. Good Times Magazine gives you all this and more. It's bi-weekly and it's free. Pick up your copy today or visit goodtimesmag.com.
InRavio.com.
Termite Marine Contracting offers all stages of dock building, including brand new docks, repairs on existing docks, pole setting, dredging, and decking. Termite Marine Contracting covers the South Shore of Long Island from Massapequa to West Islip. With more than 25 years experience, full crews, and the right equipment for any job. Got a job you want done right? Call Termite Marine Contracting at 516-449-4567. That's 516-449-4567, or follow us on Facebook. Termite Marine Contracting. When you want it built right.
From Long Island to the world, InRavio.com.
And now, back to the music on InRavio.com.
East End Screen Printing and Embroidery. Shirts for as low as $3 with print. 631-281-TEES. That's 631-281-TEES. 1355F Montauk Highway, Mastic, Long Island, New York. Go to EastEndSilkscreenPrinting.com for more info.
Because everyone else is just so last century. InRavio.com.
Shotgun Sound Studios of New York. Professional sound reinforcements. We rent sound system 100 to 20,000 watts. Monitors, side bills, in-ear monitors, separate monitor mixes. Drum mics. Digital mixing consoles up to 32 tracks. JBL, EV, Behringer, Presonus. Over 40 years of experience. Shotgun Sound Studios of New York. Phone 1-800-HEY-DUDE for more info.
In Ravio.
Croce's Auto Body, first aid for your auto since 1965. 24-hour towing, free estimates, frame straightening, insurance claims, restorations. 398 Main Street, East Moriches, Long Island, New York. Phone 631-878-1998.
InRavio.com.
Sud City Car Wash, Montauk Highway in Mastic, Long Island, New York. $9.99 early bird special Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. Phone 395-6114. Sud City Car Wash. Hand washes, hand waxes, and detailing. Interior cleaning, brushless. Car Wash Club. Simonized products. Sud City Car Wash. Montauk Highway in Mastic, Long Island, New York.
This isn't your grandfather's radio. Not even close. This is InRavio.com.
Offline with this conversation.
Oh, it's good.
Some of it we can't even talk about.
I was going to say, you might have to send the kids to bed.
Oh, man. Well, my publisher's not here, so we don't
Oh,
have,
yeah,
we don't
well,
need the bell.
and we don't need the bell, right?
He was going to come, but he's in South Carolina.
Ding.
Jeff, I miss you, man. I wish you were here.
Walter, you were talking about before about writing about the people who, behind the scenes of helping with the cars and stuff like that. There's not, I don't think we can all agree, there's not a driver at the racetrack that would not have his name on the car without support. And I think all of us can, you know, our wives, especially our wives, because they're the ones that they really have to put up with it unless they, you know, unless they're.
My wife's a
Yeah.
sport.
My wife was
My
a
wife's
saint.
sport.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I was a saint.
Yeah, you
Putting up with me.
my wife's been putting up with it for 23 years, and I'm thankful for her every day that she allows me to do it. Because my life could really be miserable.
And you know, and not only your spouse, but then the family too, because I'll tell you, and maybe looking back, I might have did things different, but I missed grandchildren's christenings. I missed weddings. I missed funerals. Remember, I buried my dad, and we went to the bar. I paid the bar tab. I said, here's a little extra to cover the people that left. I said, Ma, I got to go racing. And I look back, maybe I should have done that, but that's what I did.
I told my
life.
family all my career in Freeport especially, don't schedule nothing on race day, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday.
That was me. You're
I
right.
can't be there.
That was
Don't
me.
get mad at me because I can't be there.
We do.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you have to blow it off. You have to treat it as the hobby it is rather than an avocation, something that's going to pay you a pension later in life or anything.
But you know what? There's a lot of people, for them, it's not it's not a hobby. It's a life.
It's a life.
Oh, I understand.
Mine was a
Like
life.
yourself, absolutely.
I mean, I got married and went right back to Mom Tushki's bar, home
There you
port.
go. There you go.
I-
Home
I
port.
know
Right
it's-
from the minister's house to the bar.
Yep.
I know it's a
Directly.
life, but
Yeah.
it's not the main paycheck is what I'm saying. If it was the main paycheck, then you could understand, well, hey, gee, you don't have to work today. I have to.
Back
there
in
were
the day,
things that
Evans
I
did it.
missed.
Cook.
There were things that I missed because I had to work, but
But
it
I
had
have to
nothing
tell you,
do with
there
racing.
was many a times where I'd work on my car till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, go in, catch 2 hours sleep, get up, bang, off to work. It's what you had to do to get the car
I've
ready.
done
You're
that
on a
with my
time
brother
frame.
with the vintage mods and stuff.
Especially in the Freeport days.
Yeah.
You ran Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. You racked up on Tuesday. You better hold on because you got to be ready for Friday.
I tell a guy with the Wrecker, PA Auto Service or Shalemi or one of them.
Yeah.
Don't drop that car in the pits. Take it right across the street. I got guys over there that are going to get right on that because I got to run it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
I used to run when we ran up at the Lee Speedway, New Hampshire, a Sunday.
Good track.
On a Sunday. There was a little rain delay. We get out of there about 1 in the morning. It's 4 hours home towing, and you can't hop on the ferry. You got to drive around, and I got to be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. I went home, got the grease out of my fingernails, took a shower, put my suit and tie on, and I'm sitting at my desk, and I look like death. My boss goes, "You doing okay?" "I don't feel good." "When you go to lunch, just keep on going." All of a sudden he goes, "Joe, how come every other Sunday you're not feeling good?"
Yeah.
But that's what we did then, I couldn't do that today. I mean, holy
Wait,
jeez.
I run on a Saturday night up in White Lake Speedway. I ran a car. I think maybe we got home 2 o'clock in the morning. We used to stop at a diner on the way down. Do you remember the name of that diner? Oh, right off of 17. But we used to stop at the same diner all the time, just to keep you awake for the ride home.
Middletown.
Not the Roscoe Diner.
Roscoe Diner. That's
Roscoe
it.
Diner,
If you look on the ceiling, you see all the butter pats. We used to take the butter pats and shoot them up.
They had coffee cups, so everybody's name on it, and on the bottom is how they take their coffee. Is that the same
Yeah.
place?
I'm
That's
not
the
sure.
same place.
We used to take the butter pats and put them in a napkin and let it bow and then snap it, and the butter pats would hit the ceiling. We go back to 100, 200, 300 over the years. I don't know how many butter pats are
There's
still
no
stuck up
statute
there.
of limitations on that.
No.
But we used to, so we came home, we had to get home 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning, and the next day was the World Championships. And that same car I gave to a kid that worked for me, this guy Frank, and he ran that car and came down to 3rd place in the World Championships with it. That's how much work he had to do on it, and it was already run. So, to give you an idea of when you say you're dedicated.
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 Yeah.
Now, Kevin, log on Need for Speed. Just when is it on and where is it on?
It's on every Thursday night. Anybody that lives in Nassau and Western Suffolk County can check it out. It's on at 9 o'clock. Channel 115, that's Woodbury Cable. The show is basically, I got a lot of archive stuff from Ricky Miller, which I deeply appreciate.
Lord rest
He
his
was
soul.
Long Island Need for Speed. Without him, I would have been lost with interviews and stuff like that, because I'm still looking for somebody. My girlfriend's not really into it that much anymore, so I'm looking for somebody. If you're interested in doing interviews, you're out the track, I could use a hand,
Now, how did you get involved?
All right, this is what happened. When I was a little kid, as you can tell by these books here, I was involved with drill team racing and taking pictures at Freeport Stadium. And then I went out and bought a video camera and started video, taping the races and stuff like that. And then I happened to see public access, and I was like, let me just put some stuff on there, some fire department stuff, because I'm a member of the North Lyndhurst Fire Department, running with the drill team and stuff like that. So I started putting the firemen's tournaments and stuff on there. And then I figured, well, I got some old stuff when I used to go to Riverhead Raceway, started showing that. Then I asked, how I can get involved with Riverhead Raceway and stuff like that. So I started filming out there. I've been out there for 15 years now, or something like that?
Off and on, yeah.
Yeah, off and on, because I run vintage cars with my brother. Those are the old type the real modifies, and Marty will tell you. I do that, and like I said, I happened to send some stuff to NASCAR for the Richie Evans stuff, because they were looking for stuff, and they happened to put my stuff on there. So I must be good at what I do, and I enjoy it.
Was that Richie Evans that was sitting by the campfire and talking? Was some of your stuff in that?
That was there too. The part where they're at Islip Speedway, and George Kent was there, Jimmy Spencer was there, one of the figure eight guys, I forget what his name, was there too. They were just sitting around talking, and there was another scene when Richie was going around Thompson Speedway. And yeah, believe it or not, they used my stuff, and what did I get from NASCAR? A plaque. That's all I got was a plaque. Meanwhile, we're going to take care of you, going to take care of you. Let me go to some races and stuff.
They mention your name, don't they?
No.
No?
As far, I don't know. I haven't been to the Hall of Fame. You've been there, so.
I've been there 5 times. And every time
well,
I
when
go,
you push the button, see if there's any things for Long Island Need for Speed, Kevin Basic, Betty Blau, whatever. Yeah, really. See if our names are there.
It's funny how you'll get involved.
And I still send them stuff because I figure maybe if they're going to show Loudon, New Hampshire or something, they want to show Teddy Christopher and the other guys racing their local track, Riverhead Raceway. So every week I don't know, I must be stupid or something, but I still send it down there.
Now, Marty, you had the museum, you said off camera, 37 years.
37 years.
Wow, and then you've been involved with racing how long?
Since 1952.
52. That's longer than some of us in this studio are alive.
Started right at the bottom, Soapbox Derby car, and we built it in about a half hour.
And you told me you still have that?
Yep, and I still have it, yeah, and the stick and the helmet, everything. And the number on it's 777, because I needed a number when I got it to Freeport. And I didn't know anybody, I was only a kid. Right. I said, let me see, who's doing what? Eddie Brunhouse was out there running 777, 36 Plymouth Coupe. He's doing pretty good. I'm taking that number. So that number's still on the car.
Wow. It's funny how people get their numbers. And
that's how I got that number.
That's how you got that
Eddie
number.
Brunhouse. I always blamed him for getting me involved.
Wow.
Yeah. Another great guy.
Yeah, we were kids in my neighborhood. We used to build those things, and that was the exact same thing. We took numbers that guys had at Freeport.
And it was sponsored by the Nassau County PBC, Police Boys Club. Every Tuesday night at Freeport.
Wow.
It's like 15 years ago. It's like
that's a long time ago.
It's like 15 years ago. I get a phone call from my brother, and he's like, I want to buy a Modify. It's a Pinto. Steven, they don't have Pintos anymore. Oh no, it's number 6, and it's got stripes on it. I go, nah, that car ain't around. It's Troyer's Pinto, Maynard Troyer. We got to go to New Hampshire and check this thing out. Next thing you know, he gets that one. 2 weeks later, he buys the 18 Coupe. Then about a month later, he's looking at Will Cagle's Dirt Modify. Then all of a sudden, the Bouchard car showed up. He's got like 6 of them now.
Wow.
Now he needs a bigger garage.
Yeah.
It's a sickness.
It's just, and those are all the old stuff. And he paid top dollar.
I have no room for nothing, but I still want more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got some stuff for you. I should have brought it today.
And people say, where would you put it? I said, you just bring it. We'll show you. A little piece here. But there's no space wasted in my place.
Wow.
The ceilings, the kitchen, there's no safe.
You don't get past the foyer.
I've been in this house 5 times. I haven't made it past the foyer yet, so.
But you know about my basement?
Yeah.
That's kind of full, too, because he fixes my oil burner.
He's the only guy I've ever met needs a second story in his yard.
It's funny. We had a little.
Not a bad idea.
We had that reunion one, and I went to the reunion a couple of times, and I was like, Mario, use the bathroom? Yeah, sure. I go in the foyer. I didn't know the house was set up. I didn't get past there either. And I'm sitting there like,
So much stuff.
And then he comes in, see this fire suit? Here's that guy was on fire. Here's the picture. And I'm like, I gotta go. Oh, it was good.
But probably the key to the whole museum is actually, I don't want to brag, but it's me. Because no matter what you look at, I can tell you about it.
Oh, yeah. I told somebody that, didn't believe me. I said, you can take something out here and go in, grab it, and he'll tell you.
I'll tell you right about it.
Yep. Where it came from.
I love when we're in a group talking, when I give tours, 5, 6 people, and they mention something. I just drop out of the conversation for a minute, and I go get that item. And I bring it, and I say, this is what you're talking about? They go, how the heck did you know where that was? I said, because I put it there.
Yeah.
And I do it all the time. Everybody's amazed at that. How do you know? I put it there.
I've been down there, somebody asked me about something, and I look at it and say, well, I'm not really sure, but see that guy over there? Ask him. He knows this is his place.
Yeah.
He knows where everything is. He knows why it's
It is
here.
important.
I have some stuff over there.
Your stuff is there?
Yeah, and I have the Fedlight modified uniform that I wore at the last Fedlight modified tour race. I have a fire suit, a pit road fire suit, and I have my daughter's fire suit when she won the go-kart championship. And kind of downsized, so I didn't have a lot of room to keep this stuff.
Yeah.
So I says, I'm not going to throw it away.
Oh, no, please.
Marty will kill me.
I get a heart attack here.
And every once in a while I get that, when are you going to bring that to Marty? And I was going to bring it today, and I got to.
See that? You were gonna.
I was gonna. Now I got to make a trip.
Now I got to wait another year.
I got to interrupt you 1 second. My daughters are on here. They're wondering what I'm looking at, and one of them actually guessed correctly. We're looking at the TV screen.
Looking at the TV screen.
Which has the chat room printout on there. So yes, Chris, you're right.
Yeah. Wow. I like this little setup here, little round table discussion.
You just got to get a big mural of a racetrack
Now,
behind you.
And 5 other people will show up every
something
week.
behind us. I don't know what they put behind us. She's going to move it over now so we can see what.
I just want to mention one more thing about, in regards to Richie Evans. He was a great driver.
He was
Good
the
person,
best.
the whole thing.
Yep.
And he used to win all the big races because he drove with his head, not just his right foot.
Right.
He had it all figured out. Look at the board. Yep. It didn't matter what he looked at anyway. He had it all figured out.
Yeah.
It was a 100-lap race. For 75 laps, he took it easy.
Yeah.
He drove,
Right.
stay in the field, and then when it was 25 to go, he had a 25-lap main event, and he come in first.
There you go.
So I live next door to Anderson Fire Equipment in Bayshore, right? And they have these big day-glow orange tags that say condemned on them. And a reason, like a couple of lines where you put the reason when it extinguishes condemned. Why?
I get
And I put a tag on Richie Evans' car. The last night I saw him at ISW, he won the 100-lapper. And I put reason for condemned. The wind's too much. And one of his guys came over to take it off the car. And he said, no, leave it on there. and he drove away with it on the car.
Wow.
That's the last time I saw Richie Evans.
Wow.
I see
What a
them.
great guy.
I see them at Martinsville the day that happened, and I was like freaking out because I was with Georgie Bernethal back then. Even with Charlie
you don't
too,
forget
which is
that
on
stuff.
back. It still bothers me.
It's like when we were talking earlier about Jerry Bagatelle being
I
killed in
saw,
Freeport Speedway. That had to be 19. Wow, and it's in the 60s, and I can close my eyes and still see the car going over him and dragging him across the infield.
And Al Duffy and Duke Elliott and
how
Cal
many guys?
Palmer in '58 on the second turn. I mean, I remember all of that stuff like
I
yesterday.
remember last week we were
Just don't
talking about
forget.
the guy from Iceland
You're
Speedway.
absolutely-
I'll tell you the numbers of the cars and everything.
I'm going to be 60 years old this year, and I can remember back when my father used to race midgets in Freeport, like out of diapers, but not far from it, running around with dirt all over my face, going underneath the
Under the grandstand.
and I'm going to be 60 years old. So that's how far back, and it just stays with you. It stays with you.
And
You never
kids,
forget.
are still doing that. You sit in the stands now. You
The
look over the
Fluids.
back of the stands.
On my
There's a
belt,
bunch
right
of
here,
5-year-olds with
there's
their
a
little cars
Freeport's
playing in the
Auto
dirt.
Racing
Fluids.
pin right on my
Fluids.
belt right
Wow,
now.
look at that.
I never go nowhere without, in case I get hit by a bus, they'll know I was somebody. Yeah, I got it right here, Freeport.
And you know what?
It's there.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
My youngest son is 32 years old, and his earliest memories of the racetrack is in his diapers, running around in Freeport Speedway.
My youngest son was born while I was on the track. It meant I got the article from Gary London, or one of them wrote. That Marty's wife gave birth to a baby boy while he was racing.
And your wife still talk to you after that?
Yeah.
Wow.
She was a saint. My wife was a saint.
Like I said, if you go through
gave
some of
up
these
a whole house.
pictures, here's Freeport right here. These are. This is when they had
Money
that big
Fisher,
200-lap
Artie
race.
Tappan.
The guys
Artie
from
Tappan.
all over the place came to race there. Yeah, those are all the old stuff.
Well, Lenny Fisher still races when he feels like it.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
see him around. I say, hey, Lenny, when are we going to see you run? I haven't really decided what I want to do. I got the car, just haven't decided which track I want to run at.
He likes the ROC. He likes running the
Oh,
ROC.
yeah, no, I know.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
I tell you, it's the way to go. I don't know. You know me with the freaking mods.
Yeah.
That and the other one that races up in Connecticut because they try to keep the cost down.
The Valenti?
Yeah, they try to keep the cost
And
down. They have a
do
lot of
pretty-
cars, and all the
they've
tour
done a
guys
good
are going
job.
that way.
When we did the World Series at Thompson back in 2012, the last race there, Chad Little said to me, how many cars they got over there? And I said, well, 10 more than us. Or something like that. It was like 9 or 10 more. And he goes, go back there and, come back.
Yeah, but the tour guys are going there to race.
Well,
They're
I
leaving.
went
They're
there. I went
leaving.
down.
Something ain't right. Look at
8
Florida.
out of
That
10
was
guys.
a fiasco, that Florida trip. That was
8
like...
out of 10 guys that raced that race used to be regular tour mod guys. So I started talking. Like, well, I don't have this course. I don't have that course. I don't have this course. I don't have that. They limit the tires. That isn't. And I went back. No, Chad, it's money. What do you mean money? I said, well, there's no pit stop, so I don't have to get all that crew stuff. Only the driver has to get a license. So what the tour license is over $200. Now you got to bring 6, 8, 10 guys.
Like I've been telling you, Joe, I don't think NASCAR wants modifies, and that's where they came from. I got my feeling. They don't want
My last
modifies.
modified racing license was $20, and I still have it.
Seriously, it's the way I feel.
Somebody's asking us a
20
question from
bucks.
Marty in the chat room.
I just saw that.
Sweetie Foot is asking one of the people. They have fake names, so we don't know who they are. Sweetie Foot wants to know what you would want from Riverhead Raceway for your museum when it closes.
Oh, I already know. The starter stand.
All right, there you go. The starter stand.
So if it's missing, check in Bayshore. A little red tape. I know what to do with the red tape.
Drive down
I
with
cut
the blue
red
torch.
tape with the blue torch.
Drive down O'Neill Avenue. It'll be right out by the front walk in place of
And
the
you might want
mailbox.
to check it before opening day.
The mailbox will be hanging off the bottom of it.
If I had my choice, I'd like to get the rollover ramp out there. I built that rollover ramp for Freeport
Then
Speedway.
you should have it.
Yeah, they don't.
I built that ramp in 1979 or 80. I'm
They
not
don't-
sure.
They don't plan on using it anymore.
In 1980,
Yeah,
halfway
that's
through
right.
the season of
Videotape from
1981.
81.
You built
And
that.
then from there, then the Cromedies asked me for it. I brought it over because Freeport had closed, so I brought it over to Islip. They used it in Islip for the 1 year, and then they asked me to transport it out to Riverhead. It's still the ramp that they use.
That ramp
Yeah, I
traveled.
video-
I brought that ramp to Lebanon Valley and
I
did a
still have the
rollover
starter
contest
stand
at
from
Lebanon
West
Valley.
Hampton Speedway too.
I
The whole thing.
I brought home ID.
Climb up the ladder.
They kept
the
wrecking
red light,
the
red,
ramp
green,
in
and blue.
Freeport.
I got the whole thing.
So they had asked me,
Sawzall.
you think you can make a better ramp for us? So I brought home ID.
Wow.
and welded that thing out of ivory.
Funniest thing I ever saw happen on that ramp was a guy came out there, I think he's the only person I ever saw enter a full-size car. I would think it was a 62 or 63 full-size Ford in a rollover contest. And he not only hit it wrong, he straddled it. Not one of his four wheels touched the ramp. He just dragged the undercarriage up to the top, and thank God he was going fast enough that he made it off the end and then just kind of fell nose down into the dirt.
Yeah.
See, what I would want from Riverhead Raceway when that day, because you know that day eventually is going to, hopefully not in my lifetime, and I'm not looking for them to close up. Don't go calling up NASCAR. I said that. No. Eventually, everything closes, eventually, everything. Twinkies is closed, all right? You know, on the bread.
No,
I want the wall that I tried to drive through.
I remember that day.
And I want to take that wall and build a brick barbecue on top of it. So
That
every time
sounds good.
I cook a steak, I'm sitting there, that's my wall.
Yep.
That's what
Steak.
I want. I don't really eat steak. But
Hot dogs.
He does have special hamburgers.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I don't want none of them.
Oh, they're good, those special hamburgers. In fact, we played cards a couple of weeks ago.
Yep, and I missed out on them again.
But that's what I would want, you know? It's those things, and I have a lot of stuff. And it's all up in the
Talking to
attic
me?
now. I don't have a lot of stuff compared to you, but I have a lot of stuff.
Well, I gave you all my trophies. The only thing I kept was I have my 2 World Championship trophies. And back in the Freeport days when you won the points championship, you used to get a jacket. I kept my jackets. That's the only thing.
I still got Cookie Visconti and Freddie Tusky. I still got all of their jackets.
Do you really?
Jacket, huh? They don't give you a hoodie now.
Back then, in Freeport, it was always orange. Was the campies changed the color to orange? They used to give you the jacket with your name on it, and then on the back, it would, like I have one for a rollover championship, and one for a demo championship, and it stated the year. And
Kettenberg's was red and yellow, and I still have mine.
Do you?
Oh,
Wow.
absolutely.
Well, you know the reason for the orange. Italian flag is what? Orange, white, and green, right?
Well, the Campies.
So they're not going to give you white because it shows the dirt too much. If
The
they give you
Campi
green,
brothers
then
used to
everybody's
race
going to
with
think they're
orange
Irish,
cars.
so they made it orange.
The Campies cars were orange with black
Right,
letters on
yeah.
them. So they.
Hey,
That's
what do you call
what
it?
they
Richie
stuck
Evans and Jerry Cook used to come every Friday night. Every
You
Friday
got
night.
a
all
thank
over
you in the
Upstate.
chat room from Jaws. He says he stands on that ramp every week to take pictures. Thank you. I want to know,
My
Kevin,
man Mike.
what would you want from that place?
What do I want? Nothing. Really, there's nothing I really want.
Do you
from
have
that
all your
place.
memories on disc?
It's all on video. I swear to God, over 1,000 VHS tapes. Over 1,000. And I've got a lot, like I said, from the 80s, from Riverhead. I have got a lot from, I filmed Isom Speedway and stuff like that, my own stuff. I've got every defunct racetrack on the Northeast. I've been, 1 year I did 60 different racetracks in one summer.
Wow.
I swear to God.
That's a lot of traveling.
That's a lot of travel up and down the East Coast,
How
man.
many tracks were on Long Island over the years?
See, I was trying, you know, I
That's a
knew
good question.
It's a good question, and you know, people don't realize that back in the day, you could race 7 nights a week.
Something like
on that
14
show without
or
leaving the
something.
island.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 14?
You're not even in the
14
same
tracks.
calendar.
I remember
Really?
there
There was that many?
More,
Deer
a
Park.
lot more.
Wow.
I used to
Come
live
up
in
with some more
Freeport.
numbers.
I remember
The guest from the
Dexter
control
Park
room
from
was
my father.
42.
I remember Freeport.
At
I
least
slept
40,
with
and I think
Wow.
I can verify probably at least 42.
42
I'm working on
racetracks.
verifying, more.
Yeah.
But there's a minimum of 40.
Now you know,
And I can name them all.
How many drag tracks?
3.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you got it.
recently, back in September, I just went in and opened a store on Deer Park Avenue, and across the street is the road to Deer Park Speedway.
Baldwin Path.
Yep. I
I
could
was
see the
there.
entrance, but now there's all apartments.
Yeah.
I got to
My
ask
friend
you.
owned it, Sam Manganello.
I got to ask you this: of all 40 of those tracks, of what you know of them,
Mm-hmm.
was each and every one of them better than that track they set up on the backstretch in Daytona to run the modified
Oh,
zone?
that was the worst track I ever saw.
That race sucked.
That
How
was
many
terrible.
cautions?
Who
That race
designed
sucked.
Somebody's kid?
You know, it's
It looked like a paperclip.
it was.
Terrible.
Yeah,
It
why
looked-
can't they
it
run on
looked
the
like
big
a
track?
go-kart
When
track
they-
in front
they
in a
used to-
shopping center
When
parking
they
lot.
had their
Run 'em on the big
average
track.
speed was slower than the speed limit on the road in front of my house, that's terrible.
It was,
What-
it
and
was
what-
150 laps and 99 were caution.
What NASCAR needs to do on short tracks, less than a half of a mile, they cannot count caution laps.
No.
I am a fan. I go to races to watch racing. I want to see green flag racing. I am not giving you $80, $60 to watch cars drive around at 25 miles an hour. That's
West Hampton
memory
was built the
serves-
same way.
Agreed.
They had 2 tracks there, quarter
Right,
mile
yep,
and a half mile.
and a half mile.
The half mile looked just like that Daytona track. You go through a set of brakes every race.
But the one turns 3 and 4 were banked.
But they were at least banked. This was a parking lot.
Yeah, this was flat.
Terrible.
That was built in the scrub down area in case they took the grass out years ago because guys was gaining speed.
That's the worst track I ever saw.
I don't
Question,
remember.
was Freeport flat, totally flat?
No.
It was
First
banked?
and second turn
There
was
was a
banked.
little bit of
Third
Slight
and
bank.
fourth.
When
Third
the
and fourth
Campies,
turn.
almost
when the
flat.
Campies still used to be a
Then it'd be different. When
It used to be a
Campies
fifth mile, right?
Fifth of a mile.
When the
Used to be a
baseball
fifth
field
mile,
was
and
there,
then
right.
when the Campies got it, they did away with the ball field at the end.
Because I only
Well, that
came
was
in the
because-
late
that
70s.
was because Freeport built a
76,
new high
77.
school over on
And they didn't
Brookside
need the
Avenue.
ball field anymore.
And they didn't need the baseball field, so they were able to expand to a
But
quarter
the
mile.
first and second turn was banked. The third and fourth turn was supposedly flat, but it wasn't quite flat.
Right,
You know
they
what
were
it
banked,
was?
but not a lot.
It was banked enough to
No,
make
it was
water run
accident.
off.
I poured water on the track.
Yeah, because I went
It
there
ran out,
like back in
not
the
in.
70s when they did
Yeah,
Pintos
it ran
first
out,
time
not in.
and Cooper's
So
was
it was
still there.
off. It was going
when I
the
went.
wrong
Yeah,
way.
that's when I went, back in the
Not
70s.
much, but a couple of
70s.
degrees makes a
10
difference.
years
You know
there.
what I used to love in Freeport? We used to have they originally started with the the people coming with their registered cars, the one-on-ones.
Oh, yeah.
And how many people
Oh,
would go down and launch through the wood fence and catch that cable?
That cable. Oh,
Yeah, let me
Wreck
tell you a
their
story.
if you'd like to hit that cable,
that
I
with
have
the
it home.
Mustang.
Oh, no. Do you
I
really?
took it home. Yeah, I got it. Oh,
Oh, I had to be nuts.
It's a reel like this. I rolled it up the best I could.
I watched some guy come there. It was like a little Datsun or something back there.
Yeah.
And that car was rocket fast on a straightaway.
Until he hit that cable.
He hit that cable. He peeled the roof up. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
lucky he didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
I took the carburetors off my car one night going
Yeah,
through that wooden fence, and that cable
Really?
stopped
Yeah.
me.
34.
Just
Jimmy
short of
Spencer
hitting
had to renumber his car.
Kettenberg's office.
Yeah, wow.
But it stretched it. But, I mean, it cleared the top of the manifold right off.
Now we have a very important question in the chat room from Woomy Pook, I think it says. They want to know who bought the food for Studio B.
Oh, Joe.
Oh,
Thank
There he
you.
is, right
Uncle,
there.
Uncle Joe.
We saw him walk in with it.
I dug into my pocket. The butterflies were like pouring out. The money still had the dates for my communion, but I wanted to make sure these guys had some.
Yeah, did you wash the ink off your fingers?
I can take care of you guys. It's all good.
No, that's Don Howe because he freaking autographed. He wouldn't autograph it. It wasn't Don Howe.
Kevin has this book. I don't know if we can see
can
it.
check-
on camera.
check it
What's
out.
this?
You can't stop this show till tomorrow?
That's the Vega. That's the Rob Bouchard
I don't know
quote.
if
Can you
can
stay
see
up
this.
all
I don't
night?
know if
We
I'm on the right
can't.
camera. But you know,
This is the
it's just
geriatric show here today.
picture after picture of the old stuff, Freeport days. It's all good. It's all good.
That's what I said. This is back in the 70s when I used to go.
in
One
the
time we had a car accident. My mother crashed the car and I was crying.
You
She
were
thought I-
crying?
She thought I was seriously hurt. And I'm like, now we can't go to Freeport tonight. Don't worry, your father will take you in the truck.
You know, it's funny. My father hated racing. Hated racing. He thought it was a waste of time. The whole shebang. So my grandfather, I miss him dearly. You know, he passed away in 1986, but he always wanted to make sure I went to the races. So he comes to my house. He figures he's gonna pull a fast one. He comes before my father gets home from work. I mean, my mother will say no because that's his daughter. My mother goes, you gotta ask his father. When's he coming home? Well, in 2 hours. Well, make coffee. I'll wait. Now I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be bad. So he waits for 2 hours. He's drinking. My mother keeps pouring coffee. My father goes, hey, what are you doing? I came to pick the kid up for the race. No, he's not going. My grandpa goes, yeah, he's going. No, he's not going. My grandpa goes, why not? I don't want him to go. So my grandpa goes, listen, here's how it works. You go to the track, you sit on wooden bleachers, you get splinters up your butt, you watch the cars go in the circle. When the checker flag leaves, you go in the pits, you have a soda, you go home. He's going. And I went. The next night, I slept over, my grandpa was out. The next morning, first, the sun, I think, just peeked over the horizon. My father, let's go. You played yesterday, you're paying today. But you know what, my grandfather, if it wasn't for him, I probably never would have seen a stock car race.
Really?
And, you know, because he took me, my Uncle Johnny raced, and you know, maybe 10 to 12 years later, Tommy, it was good.
Marty, there's a question for you. I think the answer is Whitey.
I can't see the.
Okay, it says Marty. What's the name of the guy who monitored the pit gate at Freeport?
Don Wright.
Don
Whitey.
Wright. Okay, Whitey.
Don Wright was his name. Donald Wright.
Oh, I knew him as Whitey.
W starts with a W.
Gentleman.
Nice. Oh, absolutely.
Great guy.
Worked worked for the lumber company.
You see, they all were gentlemen back in the day.
Yeah, right. Everybody was.
Yeah,
We're
they
gonna
don't
have to
fight.
do anniversary show part 2 next week or something, because you got people up here with you can't stop their show until tomorrow. The best show ever.
Yeah, no kidding.
If you got any real diehard fans out there from
If
3,
you
4
people
days,
think
the old
you're having
Tuesday,
fun,
Friday,
you
and
should be
Saturday
sitting here.
days,
We're having a
I
lot
have
of fun.
all those photographs, thousands,
I gotta get myself
thousands
over
of photographs.
Well, I do have one more trophy. We were talking about trophies and everything else. The only reason why I haven't been able to get it to you is I don't have a truck big enough to bring it to you.
Does this mean I got to clear the kitchen table off?
Let me tell you, the Orange County Fair Speedway, they had a Demolition
dirt
Derby
track,
series.
Good modified track.
And in 2004, I believe it was, I won their point championship. Now, the promoter of the track knew that I couldn't make the banquet. So he brought the trophy, because I clinched the race before. He brought the trophy to the track that night. It's over 6 feet tall.
Wow.
Thank God I had a station wagon that I used in the race, because that's where the trophy ended up on the way home from the track.
Where is my brother going to live?
See, now you not only have to clear up the table, you got to cut a hole in the ceiling for the trophy to go through.
You know that wouldn't stop me a bit? I got a hole in the ceiling for it, don't worry.
There's a lot of postings going on there.
Hey, Jay Slice, he said in 1977 his dad worked the back gate.
Who?
They call him Jay Slice.
In what year?
77.
Oh, well, I already left by then.
Yeah,
Don Wright
Joe
was
Cicilla.
prior to that. Yeah.
Whitey was a fixture
Whitey
for
was
a
a neat
gazillion
guy.
years, yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a break and so we can pay the bills, so maybe we can stay here till tomorrow. Anyway, we'll take a break and we'll be back.
Yeah, I remember all the old Freeport.
Mauritius Bay Diner and Restaurant. Steaks, chops, wraps, breakfast skillets. The Mauritius Bay, 62 Montauk Highway in Mauritius, New York. 878-6827. The Mauritius Bay Diner and Restaurant in New York.
I get so lost.
InRavio.com.
Jimmy's Diner, 1535 Montauk Highway in Mastic, New York. Food and eats, 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., 7 days a week. Breakfast and lunch. Phone 631-281-5700. Home-style cooking, Jimmy's Diner. Tell them you heard it on InRavio.com.
InRavio.com.
InRavio.com. Internet, radio, TV. InRavio.com. Broadcasting to 6.8 billion people. Streaming 24/7. InRavio.com.
InRavio.com.
East End Screen Printing and Embroidery. Shirts for as low as $3 with print. 631-281-TEES. That's 631-281-TEES. 1355F Montauk Highway, Mastic, Long Island, New York. Go to eastendsilkscreenprinting.com for more info.
InRavio.com.
Stop putting it off and start painting painting it up today at Ben's Paint Station, featuring Benjamin Moore paints, Sickens, wood finishes, paints, and professional paint supplies, ideal for contractors and homeowners, stain paints and epoxies, family owned and operated, in business for over 55 years, professional and experienced help, located at 2 locations, 55B Route 25, Coram, Long Island, New York, and 1495 Plaza Montauk Highway, Mastic, New York. Call them at 775-7435 and 775-8135. Ben's Paint Station, featuring Benjamin Moore Paints. Log on to the Enravio advertisers page today.
Enravio.com.
If you want to increase business, you've got to advertise. Contact Resonant Voiceovers for an effective, affordable commercial spot. Our production, audio, and editing personnel will create top-quality recordings to promote your business. Start getting internet exposure for your business today, right here on Enravio.com. To contact Resonant Voiceovers, go to the Enravio Advertisers and Sponsors page and click on Resonant Voiceovers. Resonant Voiceovers, when you want your message to resonate.
Tomorrow's radio, right here, right now. Enravio.com.
We're back. There's some nice, interesting stuff going on in the chat room. And a question came up while we're looking. We saw certain late model drivers on there. And the question is, Mr. Oxy, what are your plans for 2013? I saw pictures of your car, so where are you going to be racing? You know, I heard rumors, and you know how those rumors are. So if you get a chance, just let us know.
Boy, where's he going?
I don't know. I heard rumors.
Well, he tells me he's definitely, they've got something lined up for Wall Stadium. They're trying to get a couple of races there.
For late models?
For the nights that he's off from Riverhead, plan is that if there's nothing else going on and the spirit moves them, they might go to Mountain Speedway and run there a couple of times.
And you know what? Those other racetracks, they treat you good, man. I'll tell you something. They call up, like with us with the vintage cars, whatever. They call up Monday. How'd you like it? Whatever. When I ran with Johnny Bush, you used to get a phone call every Monday morning. You coming back for the next 100-lap modify race we got. You know, they give you freaking money to show up there. I mean, it ain't much, but they, you know, they might throw you a free tire or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mike Morton went up to Seekonk. He ran like two or 3 weeks in a row because the late models were off. Goes to
any track.
And he goes and he races his everything. When he gets home, on the next day, there was a call from the owner. Hey, everything all right? Why didn't you come? How come you weren't there? That wouldn't happen, locally.
No.
That wouldn't happen.
The people up in Massachusetts, they treated you really well, too.
Yeah, they did.
Don't forget, back in the day, Long Island was the hotbed of racing.
What do you want for breakfast? Bacon. I don't have bacon. Sausage? No. Waffles? No. What do you got? Cheerios?
And Riverside Park, I'm at the
blueberries
pit
for my
gate
Cheerios?
signing
Yeah.
in. Right, Riverside Park, I'm at the pit gate signing in.
Oh,
And I sign in, and I'm standing there. The guy said, what are you waiting for? I said, how much I owe you? He says, nothing.
Yep.
You don't pay. Your drivers in cars don't pay here. That's the way it should be.
We went to Riverside Park. We got there early. We didn't know how long it was going to take traffic, so we go. And we're sitting there. We're just in the parking lot. There's not a car in sight. The carnival's in the background. All of a sudden, Ben Dodge comes up. Can I help you guys? We're here to go racing. I guess we're early. Yeah, you're a little early. Yeah, come over here and sign in. Same thing. Go in my pocket to get the money. What are you doing? Gotta pay. You don't pay here.
Nope.
You're the show. You don't pay.
Drivers don't pay there.
Yeah.
That was
Driver
great.
and owner.
What a novel idea.
That was great. That's the one thing wrong with the sport here that we do, that we've done. We pay to put a show on so the promoter can make money off us.
Yeah.
And we pay.
Yeah, I know.
what's wrong with that picture?
Well, here's
And
How
the,
about the
the
numbers that
fans
we have
pay
today?
too.
Hulk Hogan don't pay to go wrestling.
No.
Yeah.
Gil Hodges didn't pay to go play basketball, baseball. So why are we paying?
Yeah.
So it never made sense to me, really, why we had to pay to put on the show.
It never made sense.
But
It
Riverside
never
Park
did.
was
Because
the
they
right.
know that you will pay
You're right.
because
Well,
they
it's-
feel they're providing you a place to
Yeah,
play.
they're doing us a favor.
There's a
Right.
lot of idiosyncrasies like that. What's the best seat if
Happy
you go to
anniversary!
Oh, all right. Hey.
For those who don't know,
I am the show, so I figured I do have to come out.
Doug Schultz, in Ravio, this is
Congratulations.
in Ravio with his wife Bonnie, who's over there guarding my food for for later. But this is
Lots
nice,
of lobster tails except for Joe.
Right.
Yeah. Happy second anniversary, 5 off, 5 on, and they said we weren't gonna last.
What did they
Gave
know?
you 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's it.
we
2
weren't
weeks?
gonna last.
You turned 2 weeks into 2 years.
There you go.
That's right.
And-
Seems
and-
like it's only been a month.
And I had a co-host, Henry, and I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for Henry and Chuck, I wouldn't be here today, and I thank you guys. And I know
I
Henry's
appreciate
not a
it.
You
part
better
of us
get
no more.
clarification. Maybe he's trying to tell you only got 2 weeks left.
That's all right. That's all right.
Joe has a home here as long as he wants.
Chuck,
good.
Chuck
I
and I
know,
go
I
back. We go
I
back. We go
2
back
years
a
at
long
least.
way.
Yeah, at least
no,
2 years.
at least. A little longer than
Seems
that.
like I was here 2 years ago.
Yeah, you were. You were one of my first guests.
Wow.
Burt Myers was the first, and he was a caller from North Carolina. And it was so funny. I spoke to him at the racetrack. Burt, I really want you need to come on my show. I need some credibility. I got a good guy. Let me see what I can do. So we go back and forth. We're talking during the week. So
He's calling from a payphone at a gas station. Some kind of payphone that doesn't get 800 numbers.
So I said, yeah, he can't get through to the 800 number, so we got to call him and do it. So that afternoon, I like to get with a guy that's going to do that and go over what we're going to talk about. And he calls me up. He goes, Joe, about tonight. I said, no, don't. I already told people you. No, my daddy said I got 15 minutes. We got work to do at the shop. Bert, I'll take it. An hour later, I'm trying to get him off because I got to do my stuff. Because his dad was watching online, and his dad was like, "This is great. This is great."
Yeah.
And
You sure
Yeah,
he was-
I met him
He was in
down
the
at
middle
Wall
of
Stadium.
filming Madhouse then, wasn't he?
yes, he was doing Madhouse at the time, so they had cars to get done with.
I was
This is
impressed
good.
by him down at Wall Stadium. He came for a turkey derby, and then next thing you know, I'm like, "That's Chocolate Myers," because his uncle came with him. Was like freaking out because I was an Earnhardt fan.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Good people. His crew chief and I, our first interaction was Martinsville when he had the overdrive transmission. So every race after that, every time I said, you got to change this, you got to change, his brother would say, what's crew chief would say, show me the rule book where it says that. So I'm pretty good with that. So I go right to the book, right here. He goes, all right, sir, I'll change it.
You know, on that show, I don't know if half that stuff was true, but that other guy, the old guy, I forget what his name, the '93 guy,
Junior Miller.
did something with his carburetor, and NASCAR never picked it up. What's that deal? He changed.
Well, you
he
catch
turned
things,
the,
you miss
the,
things.
the restrictor plug, whatever. He reversed it, put it the other way around, whatever.
Imagine that.
But it's
And
Smokey
he got
Yunick-
away with it.
What Smokey Yunick used to tell NASCAR, and they were on his case all the time. He said, it's my job to cheat and your job to catch me. And they didn't catch him.
The late Bobby Lane
He
one
was
day,
smart.
he says to me, he goes, see that rule book? I said, yeah. I'm a kid. He goes, count the lines. How many lines you see? So I'm counting. I see 24 lines. He goes, well, I see 48. I said, I don't want glasses. Bobby, there's 24. There's 48. You got to read between the lines.
That's right.
You got to read between the lines. And then I had the late Joe Biondelillo.
Oh, yeah.
Him and I didn't see eye to eye to begin with because we raced together. We didn't see eye to eye. And then the guy was a terrific race car driver, and he's missed. Don't get me wrong, but when it came to racing, we didn't like each other.
Is that
So
his,
here's a late model.
nephew or whatever that's
And
running
he
that
comes in,
06 car?
and
That
I
kid's
disallow
good.
something on his race car. So he comes in the office, and him and his brother Andrew, they're not happy. They're like flipping out on me. I said, oh, wait, here's the late model rules. Let's go through. So he's going through. He goes, doesn't say I can't do that. I said, but it doesn't say you can't either. So he goes, yeah, but well, if you go to the last page, it's at the discretion of the official in charge, and that's me. And he goes, oh, that's the game you're going to play? I said, well, yeah. He goes, well, let's go to this rule. It says factory stock. This part was made in the factory, and when I went to the parts store, it was in stock.
That's a good one.
So he got me on that one. So I had to change it. I had to change the rule. But most rules are made because you caught somebody or you found something, other than the safety stuff. And even that, sometimes they wait for a tragedy, unfortunately,
That's sad.
to change something. And I have my quick release rule for the modifieds that I designed that they just don't want to even talk to me about. Because think about it, and anybody who's ever sat in a modified, you can't get out the passenger side.
No.
You can't.
No.
There's just too much stuff there.
Yeah.
And with these full containment seats, you only have 13 and a half inches to get out of the driver's window. So let's say, God forbid, you hit the wall, driver's side first into the wall, the Nerf bar's now blocking that door. You can't get out. So I designed it.
Yeah, they got the jaws of life. They'll cut you
Yeah, so
out.
by the time that guy, they go, oh, what do we need? Oh, they get it, they fire it up. All the guy is, he hits the quick release, the roof arm was up, he stands up. Boom, right through the roof.
That's a good idea.
They don't want it.
Joe, let me ask you.
It's gonna take a tragedy.
After your crash at Riverhead, What safety updates did they make with the figure 8 cars?
Honestly,
None.
none. And I'm saying that in all seriousness, and that's one of the reasons why I became an official, so that what happened to me didn't happen to somebody else. My cars, my fault, my cars were never safety teched.
Was that the Mustang?
That was the Thunderbird.
Oh, all right.
I'd pull into the pits, I'm not gonna name names, I'd pull in, this is the car you ran last year? Yep. It wasn't. All right, here's your sticker, go. Now, people joke around about the pizza box. I didn't have a pizza box firewall on the car when I wrecked it, but there was a pizza box firewall in that car when I first got in it. The guy who drove the car before me went out in practice, emptied his bowels into his fire suit, and he never wanted to race again. so I didn't have a motor. I didn't have a motor. So what we did is I took his motor, put in my car, then my car got destroyed, and we went back to his car. So there was a hole in the firewall, maybe about this big. I says, go get me like a piece of metal, a couple of screws to drill. So I go to drill, and I go right through the freaking firewall. I'm like, what the heck? Now on the other side of the firewall, the engine side, there was metal, but it was like thin stuff. Well, the firewall that I went through was the pizza box, and the little square that was missing was save 10, get a free pie.
Don't laugh.
But I didn't fit in the car. The car was built for a guy, he had shorter legs than me and a shorter torso, so he's actually shorter than I was. So I was kind of crunched up in the car, and when we hit, my body had nowhere to go, so that's why my foot snapped off in one of my laps.
Oh, God.
I still have a car from '61 at Freeport, 1937 Dodge, and the firewall is made out of cardboard, painted with silver paint on both sides, about 5 coats on each side, and it's held in with sheet metal screws and washers, and it looks correct. But if it goes on fire, it's the first thing that's going to burn. It's the firewall.
The question
I
there
still
is,
have it.
who's fooling who?
Well, I was in a hurry. Oh no, we built this car in 3 hours. You got to get to the track.
Listen, Marty, you want to talk about tech in a car? When I was teching out in Riverhead for a couple of years, there was a guy who, he had a plastic boat tank in the back seat with a bungee strap on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And no cap on the gas can. And wanted to know why I wouldn't let him race the car.
That's like today's cars. They're all built in, chassis factories or whatever. Back in the old day, you built it out of a regular car, and that's why they used to call them modifies, because you modified a regular car. And then they came in, Troyer built the first production car, and from there it just took off, and NASCAR gave them rules to follow, and that was it.
This car I'm talking about, at 5 o'clock at my gas station in Freeport, we didn't have, the car was just sitting there, gutted. I didn't even know if it ran. Didn't know if it had a bat, didn't know nothing. A guy comes by and says, hey, what are you guys still doing here? 5 o'clock, you're usually at Freeport at 2 o'clock in the afternoon waiting to be first on line.
Yeah.
I said, well, we're not ready yet. He said, well, let's get ready. Well, we got to cut a bed rail in half, put a half on the front, half on the back, cut out the cardboard, make the firewall, paint the fenders white, put number 150 on it, and go to the racetrack.
Yep.
Oh, we had to put roll bars in it too. There was no roll bars. So we took the roll bars out of the wrecked car in the back of the garage, cut them in sections, put them in the car, tack welded them to the floor, not to the chassis. Tack welded them together, put
that ain't safe.
paint mixing sticks and a lot of tape. And my brother Reggie steered the car to the track, and he had a headache by the time we got there from the roll bars rattling. So we went out on the track the first time with the car. We came in late. Herb was at the back gate, Herb Sponik. He said,
Seen
go
that
ahead,
show.
get in there, get ready. They're going to put you at the end of the field.
Sunday
okay.
nights.
Yeah, I got at the end of the field, and what I forgot was
that
I won the race too, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, got first time on the track with that car. And when I got back in the pits, I said, I'll be damned. There's the 5-gallon GI can of gas still sitting in the back on the floor and a baseball bat.
Wow.
And the joke was always around, what's the baseball bat for? That ain't for holding the hood open. That was to like even
It's like
up the odds.
when they had the
And it's
first
still
memorial
sitting there today.
Tommy
That
Baldwin
gas can is
show.
still there, and so is the baseball
Tommy
bat.
Baldwin Jr. was, I can't
we had to
believe
build
my
the car
old
in
man
3
drove
hours.
this
Yeah.
piece of
Well,
crap.
how about
And then
this?
Jerry Cook was right there too. He goes, yeah, I had the same piece of crap myself.
I
couldn't
had a
believe
demo
that they
car
said
that
that.
I towed out to Freeport Speedway, pulled it into the pits.
Yeah, I couldn't
And
believe
the
it.
distributor took a crap
Cook
one.
said it too.
So
Yeah,
I
he used to
couldn't
drive
get
a
the car
freaking
running.
coupe
This
and a
is
Falcon.
an hour before the demo's going out. So I'm going over to the junkyard across the street, Freeport Auto Wreckers.
Brother Jim.
Looking to get a distributor. Can't find a distributor.
That guy's got some nice art out there.
And then
now.
I look on the sidewalk. There's a car there with the keys in the ignition. I said, I got checked it. I get in. Whoop. It was a '63 Chevy Impala.
Yeah.
Took it in the pits. Knocked the windows out. Took the chains off my demo car. Put them on it. And I won. And when I was done, I put it back.
I bet you the guy appreciated that.
I'm an ice cream speaker. I'm a kid. It's
That
like-
was Dave.
It's maybe my
Dave.
first year, and in practice, I
He
blow a
died.
radiator.
Yeah, I know.
I hit something, the radiator goes, I was hitting things left and right. So I don't have a radiator. I ran a Cadillac 3-core radiator. So I said to my crew guys, I said, listen, do me a favor, go around the pit, see if somebody has one that we can borrow, and we'll give it back to them. About 20 minutes later, a guy comes by. Yeah, we're good. All right, put it in, we put water, we're ready to go. We go racing. Night ends, take the radiator. I says, bring this back to the guy, tell him thanks a lot. Well, 15 minutes later, he comes back with the radiator. I says, you didn't give it back? I think he left already. Well, who was it? He goes, I don't know. What do you mean, I don't know? I says, you gotta know. What was this car? He goes, I don't know. All right, so we're driving down Sunrise Highway, head back to Bowen. There's a Cadillac on the side of the road overheating.
He forgot he didn't have a radiator in the car.
Hey, Joe, I got a question for you about driving a figure-8 car. When you're driving a car, what are you looking for in the intersection? I mean, I would go balls out. If I get hit, I
Right,
get
what you
hit.
do.
Because I have trust in my roll cage
And that's a
stuff.
good question. When you're in a figure-8 race, and you go into, let's say, the near turn by the pit ramp, when you go into that turn, you're looking at the far turn. And you're
Oh, to
saying,
pace yourself?
Can I beat that guy? Do I got to go a little faster? Can I back off? Do I got to go a little wider? That's what you have to do. And then the same thing when you go to the other turn, you look at the far turn. When Brian was driving my figure-8 car, and the few times I was there, I was on the radio, I would tell him, so he didn't have to look. I would say, it's the 28, back it down.
Yeah, right.
It's this guy, go wide. You never stop. Because if once you stop, you're going to lose a lot.
That's not what you told me.
Your momentum's gone.
They need more cars out there for figure
They
eights.
do, and-
I would put a blunderbuss car and make it a
You-
figure
you
eight.
know-
You know, I had a conversation with the Crombies.
And I think
pertaining
that would
to
work
exactly that.
because people want to see the
I
T-bone.
said the problem with the figure eights and
Just
with all,
beef up
with
the
all
cage.
the restarts is because guys have too much money in their car.
That's right.
And they're afraid to take a risk. And I don't blame them. So I said what they need to do, again, go back to grassroots racing, take an Enduro-style car, has to be bone stock. You can do the camber and caster in the wheels. And now, the guys, they'll take a shot. They wreck the car. It's not so hard. They didn't lose so much. They'll build
just
another
beef
car.
up the cage, that's
and
all.
instead of having
build a
6
tank
cars,
roll cage
that's
rather than
right.
that stock car. Yeah.
Instead of having 6 cars out there, now you'll have 26 cars, and there's a lot more action. Because let's face it, people are going there to see the action. They're not
I don't
going
think
there
I don't think
to watch
Roger would. I'd
restarts.
move on.
They're not going there to
I
watch
like his
restarts.
figure eight car.
Joe, I
that day.
remember what you told me when I took your car out for practice. I asked you, what do I look for going into the X? Well, I asked you, no, what did you look for going into the X? And you said, I don't know, I always had my eyes closed.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought the one-word answer was when he said, what are you looking for when you hit the intersection of
Nothing.
figure eight? Nothing.
You want nothing.
Nothing there.
Nothing there.
You know, when my daughter used to just take the green and take their money because last paid $100. You know, she used to say, Dad, what do I do? What do I do when they start crisscrossing? I said, pull out.
What do you feel safe with?
You know, there's a fact too. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, when it was built, was supposed to be designed to be a figure-8 track.
I said that on my show
It's
2
true.
months ago.
Yeah, yeah, I
Nobody
remember
believed
that.
it.
Over and under though. But I have the
That's what I
proof. I
said.
have it on.
I saw it. You showed
Yeah,
me.
I have it.
Yeah.
Over and under figure, 2.5 mile figure-8 track. Wow.
Can you imagine?
We were going back before about what's part of the problem with the attendance and everything else at the racetrack out
Money.
here.
Charge less to get in the
And we talked
pit,
about
regular
Beckle Motor
stands.
Speedway upstate where Tracy Chirico is the business manager.
She was here on Long Island.
Yep.
And it's a $5 admission fee.
Why does it seem like everybody that goes off the island does better? I don't know.
But another thing is, you know, with local news reporting, there's next to nothing on News 12.
Well, they
You're-
used to
you're-
have that. I used to give a report every week. I used to get home like at 12 o'clock, 2 hours. They wanted unedited stuff. Next thing you know, I'm going to bed. It's 4 o'clock in the morning because I live in Lindenhurst. I had to go to Woodbury to
And
drop
you
it
take
off.
Ricky home sometimes.
Yeah, I was taking Ricky Miller home too. And yeah.
A pretty good job.
I don't understand Newsday gives you like 4 days later they give you your name so small you can't read it.
Can't read it.
Well, my
It's
daughter
not-
says $20 to get into Newsman.
I raced at a demolition derby in Troy, Pennsylvania. The biggest one I was ever in, 373 cars.
Wow.
And they had 3 newspapers, 2 radio stations, and a television station. And this was in 1989. I won world championships in '88, and they interviewed me on all 5 spots. And you have to build up your sport. You want the people to come and watch you. This way, you're going to get a bigger purse. The promoters are going to get more money in their pocket.
Yeah, it's like me
This
with
is
the
what you
show.
want.
I show the races a week later.
Right.
They're getting free advertisement or whatever. I don't mind doing it. I love doing it. I love going. Well, I do like going out there. I mean, if I have to go someplace else, I'll go someplace else to film. But, I enjoy my time out there and stuff.
Yeah, well, it's the same
I have
with
a lot
me
of friends.
with the website. I mean, I enjoy promoting the idea of going to the races, and I've been doing it at Riverhead now for the last 4 years with my site, and hoping that I can get more people to go, because it's fun to be out there when there's a crowd, as long as the crowd's not too big.
You know what, they should
There's
try
been
that
nights
one
the
weekend.
crowd's been so good you can't get out of the grandstand when you have to.
And instead of charging, what do they charge?
pack
20,
the- pack the
25,
track, $5?
15 bucks, $10. Advertise in Newsday. I'll advertise on my show, whatever. I guarantee it'll be standing room only. It'll be like when they had the fireworks.
I got to tell you a story. And
Guaranteed.
And Chuck could
And they'll
verify
make money
this.
like you wouldn't believe.
We went to the people at Riverhead, the powers to be, and we wanted a billboard to be put up, and we were going to put it up ourselves. They didn't have to even have the expense. We were going to pay for the billboard, kind of like what's on that wall in Studio A. And we said, in exchange for that, we'll do the Riverhead Raceway report. This is who, top 3, top 5, whatever. This is what's going to be there Saturday. They want no part of it. It cost 0 to them. They want no part of it.
I would make this, like I said, Long Island was the hotbed of racing. You had
Was at
guys
one
from
time.
Connecticut, Jersey, whatever, come here instead of going to their local track, because this was the
Yeah.
hotbed
Now
of
it's
racing.
just the opposite way around.
Marty will tell you. Yeah, everybody
Neighbor guy who
travels.
drives past that place, beeps and waves, and goes to Mountain Speedway, 3 hours away, 2 hours.
Or up to
Great place,
Connecticut,
Mountain.
wherever.
I ran a midget up there. Great place.
We're going to be racing in Wall this year, my brother-in-law and I.
Yeah, see?
That's a great racetrack. It's a really good track.
And I hate to say this, but our time has come to an end.
Can't be.
Time flies and you have
Can't we
fun.
get an extension?
Is it tomorrow already?
Is it tomorrow?
Oh yeah, look, it's midnight.
Oh, we'll be back next week to continue round 2.
Kevin, Long Island E for Speed, thank you. WJ.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. Marty,
Thank
you
you
keep
for-
preserving the memories. I
Thanks
keep
for
writing
having
about
me.
them.
Thanks for having me.
You're always welcome here. Mad Hatter, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Mike?
I had a great time.
Mike, I love you guys.
Yes, sir.
This is our racing family.
been great, yeah.
We had the demo.
This was a lot of fun.
Guy, 60 years.
I've been in a long time.
60 years. God bless
Wow.
you, man. And you still
Don't
look good.
seem- It don't seem possible.
No, it goes
This
back.
is my 40th.
Yeah, 40 for the man.
52.
There's probably 300 years of racing, right?
Yeah, I've been going since I was 12 years old. Yeah.
65, 1965.
Spring of
I haven't missed a
64
season.
for me.
I haven't missed
a season.
52.
I was still in diapers.
That's
My first
92.
race, I was 15, so that's 68,
Oh, another
1968.
Wow, that's 150.
But I enjoyed every bit of it, especially Freeport. Oh,
300 years of racing.
That's my
was
best
at this
memories.
table.
I
Free-
lived there. I
Freeport's
lived
my
a
best
block
memories.
away from
Yeah.
Freeport. How could I not be there?
Yeah.
I could go out my back
Freeport's
door.
my best memories for just racing in general, but the World Championships in Islip, I've never done any other racetrack or any other race.
Yeah, it was
that-
always
that
on
could compare
ABC's
to
Wild
that.
World of Sports.
My
We
brother-
figure
my
eights were
brother
on
sport,
there.
yeah.
Oh, it was
Both of
great.
those tracks were special.
That's my daughter.
Yeah, I know.
Guys, again, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this, and I'm glad you guys came and celebrated our second anniversary. And, we might have to have a 2-year, 2-month anniversary.
She's been saying that since she was a teenager. Do you think I should say on there how old she is? Because I know when her birthday is. Want me to do that, Kat?
Oh, she's going to be 40 this year.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
You'll always be.
Whoa.
Yes, I will.
I'm waiting on my 7th grandchild real soon.
You know,
I have 2
now her
great
sister chimed
grandchildren
in.
now and 9 regular.
Wow, good.
Anyway.
Isn't that great?
It is great. Yeah.
Everybody, I appreciate you listening, watching, chatting, calling. It's been a great night. Be safe this week or wherever your travel is going to take you. God bless you all, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you for 2 years. Have a good night, everybody.
All right. You know,
I'm a maniac, and I'm on the attack, and you're a racetrack hack at the back of the pack. You drive like my Uncle Pete. He's blind and ain't got no feet. Just one more lap till I take the checker. Add another win to my winning record, another trophy, more respect. And a great big gosh darn check. See, there I am in victory lane. I'm doused with champagne once again. There's you in last place. You got egg all over your face. See, I'm the best. I'm the star. I'm the undisputed king. You're just out of place.